All right, back to the bad guys.
Tilda Chapter 70 Xyanthor and the Green Apes. Xyanthor and the others are about to enter the planet of the Green Apes
Um, Sorry, I just got distracted by something, but yep, that's the start.
to get more of a solid idea of where to go. The location is in the knowledge of Vata as he locates planets well by looking at the stars around him.
So that's what the others were doing already, but I guess this implies that that he has like way more knowledge of the whole galaxy, which yeah, I can see why. And if he's done a lot of traveling, he probably might have studied these things. It's not like he had 100 years. um, Anyway, so they're like this destination, and it makes you wonder, oh, how come? And then that's where Vata's like, I know where they are, I know the stars well. I wonder if he's like, have you not been to this planet already? So yeah, I can imagine he should probably sort of said something like that because after all, they can source the whole of locations by going there. But anyway, this is the Green Ape planet, as you can see below, and you can see two Green Apes being down, and Astrodon has his pickaxe-like weapon against one of them as well. Um, Anyway,
As Vata reveals this information while they are all on the same ship, this
so they've been on the same ship all this time. So yeah, it's unlike book four. Things are still happening and one's still moving about, which I quite like. It's a good start for this one.
does please the other goons because they all wonder where to go next regarding the element. By
Guess slightly excited for the mission or just ready for anything. Yeah, they're just all on the same page.
confronting the Green Apes, they will have some more definitive destinations. Xyanthor does feel like he is put aside because of Vata getting the spotlight again, just like in their
I bet that has like a lot to say, making the goons like drawn towards him, making Xanathar a bit left out. Is that the impression? Hopefully that gets talked about, but anyway. Oh, what's this? Oh no, that sounds like a bit of a jokester by saying, "Oh, yeah, he used to chase insects when he was younger." Like, right? Um, so if you want to think that, oh, I don't know. It's just that was the same being who was about to reform the whole universe and we'd start on it. Um, no, that may be old, but he's not that type of older individual. Um, he should have been talking about way more serious things. Talk about, um, you know, um, um, oh, how would you say this? Yeah, just something more relevant. About the elements, the quest, anything except embarrassing kid stories.
younger years. Even Vata accidentally embarrasses Xyanthor by telling a tale of how Xyanthor used to chase flying insects when he was younger. Xyanthor
Oh, not actually. Even if that sounds embarrassing at first, I just suddenly realised that when it does come to the flashback, it does show Xylophore, he used to be quite naive and because he used to be, what did he used to be like quite acrobatic nearly as he was chasing after insects, and I think he still wants to go at them or something like that. It also just makes you wonder what type of insect, because it would be an alien one, but never mind. Unless I could make, I don't know, these alien planets share Earth wildlife too, but I feel like that would I don't know, that would have like different futures because evolution and adaptation is the thing. Um, and I guess what it could imply is that this is, I guess Line 4 did start out someone who was quite naive, only to, um, let's see, and then doing this become, like more of a monster. Like it's not a bad idea, but I just feel like Sign 4 and Vata should be kind of, uh, like I don't know, like kind of mature and dark throughout instead of having any innocence at first. And also, was a mother ever involved, unless these aliens produce asexually as well?
tries to expand on this by stating that his parkour and climbing were practiced as he was doing it, and Vata doesn't see yet that Xyanthor is a
Oh, okay, so yeah, Seinfeld's acting like the embarrassed mate, being like, oh, what, like, did pay off in the end. Because, although that's the thing, like, parkour was never, like, yeah, sure, that I can imagine being quite active and can adapt by jumping from place to place because he's quite strong. But yeah, Barkhad has nothing to do with like their lifestyle whatsoever, or this entire story for a matter of fact. But now a good rewatch because I really like both Minecraft parkour alongside real life parkour. Yeah, they can be like really fun to watch. Um, um, Sorry, what I was saying is that if my animations were to be more visual, I can probably come up with a couple of ideas then.
Annoyed by the topic. Before they arrive on the Green Ape planet,
Yeah, I can imagine anyway what's happening as they arrive.
they all have some ideas for where the elements are, such as Earth potentially having Hermota. Considering Ikran found
Um, I don't know what got them to that conclusion. Was it did Ekron spy on the planet once? Was it because the cube stopping eventually? Yeah, who knows? But yeah, it definitely would be an anomaly, like a one-off, that's for sure. Because otherwise, if that was like a thing multiple times, as I thought, would like, oh, it must be like cosmic activity.
out via spying that the Legion stopped the biggest universal
Oh, so I'm phasing out again. So that's how he knew. Okay, or had at least had the idea. Um, yeah, I found out via spy Legion had stopped the universal attack while wait, Ekron went to the planet Hamo to manage to see that. Is that what's being implied? Why didn't he get? I don't know, like take event like fight the Legion or gather the goons again to try and fight them. Especially nobody on about. And I don't know. Did they actually make it all that way? Although if Ekron did go to that planet, then if it was just through teleporting, well, okay. Well, in that case, they could have easily got hold of the motor once they fought off Torrid, or let alone when he was absent from the planet a long time. So, I just thought Ekron was like spied on Earth and then got information that way because I feel like you have to actually know where these planets are to teleport, which is implied with like with Mulligan the book, and especially when they visited Earth before, and when Orphan would have passed on the location details too.
attack that wasn't organized by Xyanthor, meaning Hermota should be in the Legion's possession. Viber is a questionable one.
So Hermota was the biggest non-Hermota, non-Zarvor threat. Yeah, I can see that being accurate.
It could be with the Morphils, as Mechajaw was the last to have it, and it can't be Earth again because they believe that the Legion is smart enough to not maintain multiple elements in one planet. Livinga, they know, is with the Titan.
Yeah, that's actually like a sensible thought process. So even if they don't like their enemies, they don't want to undermine their intelligence either. Because I think it would be really daft if they could be like, you never know, the Legion could be trying to protect the lot, but it looks like, yeah, wow, that's so it's actually cheating them like smartly. Well, it's like it's weird because they like being generous, but at the same time, they just I think it just simply just not wanted to undermine the beings. Um, yeah, which is good. And so vibrancy, but yeah, I can definitely see that from this perspective because they don't know if they don't know that Pod's Trident has it. But the pod activity with the Trident, though, didn't they think that was a bit odd? And I suppose it was the flooding thing that happened, making them all think, oh yeah, Vibra's definitely involved. Well, where is it? Um, so yeah. Also, just a quick no, never mind. So Viber is questionable one. It could be for the morph the Stas to have it. Oh yeah, because of Xan Extra fight, of course. And so yeah, they think that. So I don't know about. Oh yeah, because Image was last to have it, and he was presumably defeated. But well, actually no, I don't think Ekron etc. would have been doing any spying recently, so I can see why they wouldn't know about the Legion, knowing that they're getting banished and also getting a bit lost with what happened with Vibra. Like maybe Zynford could have guessed that Mechadraw did go to Earth, considering that was partially a task, and Mechadraw would go for a highly evolved planet too. So yeah, so despite being a tricky one, I can kind of see some bit of a through line here, which is better than I can say for a lot of similar cases of writing like this.
Rands, as the goons fought both the Legion and Titan Rands over that power, and so despite some ideas, they still need.
Yeah, at Nahash too. Yeah, back in the third book. So it's good to But yeah, this is like updating themselves, which is kind of good.
A clearer path on how to get there, and thanks to Vata's clever navigational skills by looking
Yeah, they can't keep relying on the stars. Sounds really tricky. And no, I think their quest is slightly slow because of having to go from. Although, hang on, if they were like, yes, they could have, um, like had these theories before, but I guess they were popping from planet to planet when they're not sure what everything was at. Yeah, because yeah, yeah, because yeah, Forza was totally a mystery, and they got hold of that. So um, so yeah, because I think just going through planet to planet that casually, I can see that being slower. But once they have their green ape technology, everything does quicker once everyone has their destinations. And thankfully, they only go to like one destination each. Yeah, they have one, and then Zynford back to go on another, and then Zynford then takes 2 more trips. Assuming that he's kept the GPS technology all this time with him. Um, So yeah, I think that's just something that we can infer. I wonder if the GPS technology gets addressed. If not, it'll probably just be with Sign 4 all this time.
at the stars. He helps everyone find the green ape planet. So they plan for what to do when entering the planet.
I think that's slightly repeated, so sorry about that.
And considering how this race protects the source of all locations, they think this race is too risky to keep alive, not to mention the green ape's fighting ability being too formidable. We then see the green ape's planet, a world.
So that's a bit of a chunky sentence, especially with no full stops anywhere. But yeah, if they have like Sonic screaming, etc., then yeah, I think it's good to get rid of them. And yeah, if they seem to know where everything is, then yeah, it does sound a bit risky. And I don't really like how up in the air the targets are because I don't know. I feel like that's why Mechador's motivation at first seems, just a lot more clearer. Just the wildlife. Nobody going, beyond the nobody going too far at a point where it overcomplicates various bits and bobs. But yeah, like I said, yeah, Xylophone I don't really quite understand because compare that to I remember an analysis video on Star Wars because the Emperor obviously we wanted the Jedi to be targeted, but when the Wookiees all went presumably at the end of Revenge of the Sith, that was like showing that even those who worked close to the Jedi, even he thought to get rid of them as well. And thankfully, considering how massive that universe is, I think that should only be like a few races. But if I've made my universe a bit too small, then you're almost like nearly going for everyone. Leaving like maybe there's Stoners alive at a pass, maybe there's Snake race. Yeah, I don't know. You just don't really know who's going to make it, but I'll make that very clear with the reboot. Yeah, there's definitely a difference between those who fight and those who do not. Even if there's fighting individuals, then fair enough if they have enough power.
Which had been battered by both Torrid and Mechajor's attacks too, the world tries to get on with everyday life, with the little
Yeah. Oh yeah, we do get some explanation of what the planet is like, and I think if you're not going to spend too long in a setting, especially when we've been introduced to it before, I can see why the details are slightly at a minimal. But yeah, I guess it's just good continuity to have um, yeah, like with pretty much every planet suffering the same as others.
food and shelter they have. While they have been getting better than other races, they too are about to get unlucky. The ship arrives, full of evil, and Vata has
I wonder why they've adapted the attacks compared to the other races. Maybe because if the land is more artificial, did it? Oh, I don't know. I feel like it could be trickier because natural land you can like shift soil about and then go on from there. But if the land is artificial, surely that will make it harder. Not to mention what do they eat. Anyway.
some ideas up his sleeve, a plan to gather.
It's such a shame because I kind of liked the planet at first because when you look at ambient occlusion renders on Maya and seeing settings made up of that, that was like the idea I went for, but that's like a style over substance kind of moment, unfortunately.
All the green apes in one spot and confront them for the technology. All the goons, Xyanthor and Vata start to surround them.
So is that acting like the leader and no one else is going along with it. Okay.
The whole planet, forcing all the green apes towards one spot.
Well, if it wasn't Vavata, what would I suppose they would have just caused a rampage all across the world like they do with the other planets, as we can presume. Well, except for planet Garrett, I don't know. I just felt like he would have had a good look all around.
Tilda Chapter 70, Xyanthor and the Green Apes. Xyanthor and the others are
This feels like something Ozona would do, but not Xyanthor. I'm not sure.
about to enter the planet of the Green Apes to get more of a solid idea of where to go. The location is in the knowledge of
Um, um, oh, okay. So some you got were kind of followed along with some trying to resist. Um, so um, okay, yeah, it's just updated details.
Vata as he locates planets well by looking at the stars around him.
Okay, why didn't Xyphor say anything unless it was just I suppose this is like very, well, I don't know, they are getting, I don't know, like Google GPS on steroids, so it's yeah, it's no undermining how important this is, even if it's not like the most most relevant thing to the elements. Sorry, that's really tricky to say. I felt like I could make a rap out of that, but I'm rubbish at songwriting, and not to mention then my skills in novels aren't great either. Anyway, and yeah, once again, Xyphor uses Forza generate wind, but why?
As Vata reveals this information while they are all on the same ship, this does please the other goons because they all wonder where to go next regarding the element.
Oh, okay. So despite that being like having them all in one spot, and I think Xyphor's is like a way of Xyphor being like, no, I've got the situation, and so I think that's how he controls it. I think keeping them all in one spot is okay as a strategy. I suppose it is better than going all around the planet. But does that mean when Xyphor and the others were? Oh no, Xyphor's idea was get the other goons to fight off the Sotras while you go straight to the element, which is not complicated regarding strategy.
By confronting the Green Apes, they will have some more definitive destinations.
Escaping their radar. Yeah. Well, do they Green Apes have spaceships even? Unless it's just a way of saying, oh, they let the Green Apes like try and run away. But even then, oh well, surely they would have ships because why else would they have the source for all locations? I feel like they would explore everywhere. Or was that even a thing that was implied?
Xyanthor does feel like he is put aside because of Vata getting the spotlight again.
Okay, yeah. It's a bit weird why Vata is like the one with the words. But anyway, it looks like he's threatening with those words. Oh, hang on. So Vata spoke and the Green Apes like fine have it. Well, I feel like they're not getting spared.
Just like in their younger years. Even Vata accidentally embarrasses Xyanthor by telling a tale of how Xyanthor used to chase flying insects when he was younger. Xyanthor tries to expand.
So he's bleeding once again. But yeah, they do have a chat about leadership. I guess did Vata like not mean to do it, or is he used to being the boss? Well, despite being away from everyone for 100 years, especially his own son. I'm a bit confused here because it feels like because Xyphor should be like the leading one, but if Vata like gets in the way, that's where Xyphor's like, please know your place. That would make more sense compared to what's happening right here. But anyway, we're getting another montage like thing where we're kind of seeing the goons using their abilities to attack the Green Apes. Yeah, it's not like a bad thing. Hopefully this should be a bit more original than, oh, he uses a spear, he uses a pickaxe, it's anti-gravity. Let's just hope it varies a bit more. Yeah, because I feel like maybe the goons should be far more unique in their approach to with how they fight each alien, for instance.
On this by stating that his parkour and climbing were practiced as he was doing it, and Vata doesn't see yet that Xyanthor is annoyed by the topic.
Yeah, this almost feels like a bit of a loop. It's like no different to the Soch fight, which is such a shame.
Before they arrive on the Green Ape planet, they all have some ideas for where the elements are, such as.
Well, I suppose he's at least going for those far away, but still.
Earth potentially having her motor. Considering Ikran found out
No specific lasers. Vat only has the martial arts. Would have been kind of cool if he had remains of elemental bits and bobs, so he could then tell Xynthor about it instead of almost coming out of nowhere.
via spying that the Legion stopped the biggest universal attack that wasn't organized by Xynthor, meaning her motor should be in the Legion's.
Aim to get rid of the most, as in like he wanted like the higher kill count. That sounds a bit edgy. But I suppose it's like inevitable because of the power he has. So I think he's just like, yeah, I'm going to be the most efficient at getting rid of all of them.
Possession. Viber is a questionable one. It could be with the Morphils as Mecha.
I kind of like this at least because it's like reminding us of the Forza abilities, and whilst it could be speed boosting, at least like I said, it's just like the basics of Forza, and all of this is kind of easy for him anyway. So that's why you can imagine he's going from one grenade to the next. But at the same time, this is just having fun with your abilities instead of actually using your abilities for certain purposes, which it just makes it a bit bland. Like a quick example, Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare. You know how each characters, for instance, like the pea shooters, they have very specific abilities for certain functions. Although I think if I was, I don't know, write a novel based on it, like I don't know, it's just because they have far less abilities, therefore they do things a certain way. Because even the difference between the P shot and the Gatling gun is that the Gatling gun is more power, but required to be more stationary. But I don't know, like even if, for instance, if you was like zooming around whilst firing Ps, it would be. I guess in a more specific story would be like, oh, he shoots that green in the legs and then follow him on to the head, and then zooms underneath the building, then shoots a whole crowd of them. As he spins about 360, hit multiple targets. Like that's in detail, but if this was written in a more basic fashion, we'd be like, oh, it goes around the village and he shoots all his P's against all the zombies. And that was it. It's just a bit abstraction up in the air. It's my fight scenes are probably now considered more lame after doing that comparison. I have Plants vs Zombies out of all comparisons. I really like Garden Warfare, by the way, because it's just absolutely fantastic. I want to watch it again. I sadly didn't have the game anymore, but watching clips etc. is still rather fun.
Jaw was the last to have it, and it can't be Earth again because they believe that the Legion is smart enough.
What? Move Deb. Why does Debris have a dash afterwards? About his blunt? No, it's moving debris. Moving debris around for blunt force hits. That's meant to be the sentence.
To not maintain multiple elements in one planet. Livinga they know is with the Titanrans as the goons fought both the Legion and.
Okay, that was nearly something coming after the ending, but it's at least. I suppose I'll give this a pass because they're like they definitely got hold of the green note, got the GPS beforehand, and then all of them went. So it's like another victory for them.
Titanrans over that power, and so despite some ideas, they still need a clearer path on how to get there. And
I know that the device is easy to use. I suppose he is like the map of the group, or like the map holder of the group. I suppose. It's weird because I just hope that Xynthor doesn't get like. Well, actually, he does find his fortune later on, but I don't know. It's just a bit of a story about him chasing insects. Like, I know villains sometimes need backstory, but was that even needed? Like, I know it was like set up for the flashback, but even the flashback could just play, as itself. Just seeing how Xynthor used to be, more naive when he was a lot younger.
Thanks to Vata's clever navigational skills by looking at the stars, he helps everyone find the Green Ape planet. So they plan for what to do when entering.
Oh, that is okay. Well, despite not doing it for a long time, okay. But with the goons, I can somewhat see that happening. I don't know. So because the elemental wave, would have helped sort it out a lot, but then these goons, well, sadly we don't know their age. I don't even know if Monarch was even there during the battle. But yeah, if they were doing like little missions to, go around to find the elements, maybe okay, so when it says don't often do it, so those signifies that they have done it every now and again, but with some form that I guess it used to be continuous, in the past, even like before the war, because yeah, I think some of it was done as they were trying to find the elements, to get some races out the way ahead of time.
The planet, and considering how this race protects the source of all
Um, okay, that was like a weird confirming line.
locations, they think this race is too risky to keep alive, not to mention the green
Um, so, uh, oh, okay, so because of how inexperienced they are in doing this task on at this size, so like a tiny bit of guilt to them. Yeah, is guilt really the right word? It should be a bit more like I don't know, just oh, I don't know. Like, sure, I can see how they would have like a different reaction compared to design form batter, but is that even like the right approach?
apes' fighting ability being too formidable. We then see the Green Apes planet, a world which had been battered by both Torrid and
Um, because of oh, okay, so that's why they have that kind of guilt. See, I think so, yeah, Zanvar batter kind of over it, thinking that it'll solve a lot of things, but yeah, I bet the likes of Ekron could be like, oh, probably it might have been kind of fun to fight them again or something. But I don't think for the sea fights like that. I can see a Pasnos doing that if he was a bad guy, of course. But I don't know. I can see where it's going from. I guess it is trying to explore the goons a bit, but yeah, there's something about it which I'm not too keen on.
Mechajor's attacks too. The world tries to get on with everyday life, with the
Yeah, like the Green Apes are just very capable fighters. They do nothing, exactly threatening. So. Um, Um, so yeah, once again I can see where it come from.
little food and shelter they have. While they have been getting better than other races,
Who's more guilty than one another?
they too are about to get unlucky. The ship arrives,
That's meant to be trail. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, definitely misspelling.
full of evil, and Vata has some ideas up his sleeve.
Oh yeah, the Morphle planet. Yeah, of course they're gonna consider that as well because that's where Mechadol last settled in, even if he's not around. So yeah, it's not a bad idea. Although both planets, I think that should have specified that. Although design for know about sharing one planet then the planet then the next. Um, yeah, I can. Um, um, yeah, I can imagine Design for knowing about. Yeah, like I said, the two planets they've had to go through. And it's normally just one.
A plan to gather all the green apes in one spot and confront them for the technology.
I don't think you have the time. I know you're not on exactly the time limit, but you don't want to give the Legion, etc., time to prepare as well. You've already been attacked by pods, so yeah, you need to get going, find the elements before I should have an easier grasp on them before they get hidden, etc. And yeah, because imagine if without this conversation, hopefully they know it's a before they leave, so they're not even chatting on the ship when they should do, and that way things are still progressing. Because sadly at the moment you're on a singular spot. Anyway.
All the goons, Xyanthor and Vata start to surround the whole planet, forcing all the green apes towards one spot.
Um, okay, so Xyphos criticising Vata, and Vata's not keen, and yeah, I can see why, especially with Vata being the one told off despite how old he is. Yeah, I wonder how old both of them are.
Around one of the bigger sphere-like hills around the area, scaring all the green apes, with only a few of the green apes trying.
I'm a bit confused because I think what I've been talking about has been mostly before, so maybe it's like stated later on, or it's like a reluctant choice, but I'm still like really confused regardless. So yeah, it's as if Vata's like, unless it was like implied before, how he's like jealous that Seinfeld has the amulet and Vata's trying to still be the leader, and Seinfeld's like maybe I should be more the leader because I have the elements. It's just I'm just a bit unsure about it because I've seen a few stories, between a royal father and son be done before in ways which are, where they explore all sorts of, things they try and overcome together. I'll tell you one good example. That BBC Merlin show, I think you can find it on either iPlayer or Netflix. Yeah, the interaction between King Uther followed by King Arthur, who was a prince for quite a large majority of the show actually. I really like their dynamic and they explore all sorts like royalty and what they think of certain things. Yeah, that I really like it's done well. But this just feels like a very cookie cutter comparison in comparison. Sorry, I get my words mixed up, but it's just far inferior, that's for sure. And yeah, it's a real shame because I wanted like Zion 4, to not only we've had to be more of a anchor for Zion 4, but for Zion 4 to be seen as the more sympathetic one, like the most sympathetic villain. Yeah, that's something I wanted like to do. And whilst there is like an attempt in like later parts, but this is not like a good look nor a good start of this idea.
To fight any of them but to no avail. As Zion Thor is getting jealous of Vatus' leadership.
For how long? And maybe the first time for might have beaten his record, just sitting on the fortress for 100 years.
Zion Thor acts as the primary force as he uses Forza to generate wind, lightning and others.
Um, okay, so they're making comparisons as well. So yeah, I think Zion Thor's like, I have run the fortress, despite the failing, I still organised a team that still followed my lead. Something like that could have been good.
Storm-like aspects to control the situation further, preventing.
That's the key word, nearly. I think the better success would be actually to turn the living elements into energy forms, which is a flashback that does come eventually.
Any green apes from escaping their radar. And so, all the green
Or really giving an edge, yeah, just really showing that time the warm and the power. That would have worked if they were like more antagonistic with one another. And like I said, Vata could have been like, oh, it's too bad my body's in bad condition, but if I could control Xyphor to be more like me, then there you go. But that's where then Xyphor could be like, well, there's no point thinking like that because I'm already capable. I'm already trying to prove to you. So yeah, something like that would have been far better.
Apes are gathered, and Vata asks for the location-based technology once, not asking again.
And it could be like, oh, maybe experience for yourself and then do it that way. But no, I made my mind up. Yeah, I don't think Vata's going to be in the reboot. It could maybe like a brother instead. Like that could be. I don't know if that is for has to have like someone who, like I said, is like an anchor because it is quite a neat touch to have a villain who they do do have some kind of friendship or connection with, and if they get hurt or even or worse by the opposite team, that's where it can really add to the villain that way, depending how it's written. Anyway, sorry, bit of a tangent, but never mind. Let's get going.
Their survival, but without knowing that the green apes would have to go, and so Vata gets himself and everyone to kill all the green apes.
Right. First destination, that's a bit of a weird word because how would you interpret it? Because we've been to the Sotra planet, then here. I guess now that I wondered if I called it the first destination because they now got proper black tracks in front of them, but I felt like that should have been state instead of being like, oh, off to the next destination, for instance. Yeah, also, I just felt like it was a bit dramatic for the image to just suddenly snap off as that final paragraph came about. I just find that a bit overly dramatic. But anyway, so Zion Force said, well, he needs to Vata, and Vata, I think, has a good thing, etc. But yeah, and so Zion Force like, I could do this. And I think it's just like an example of Zion Force being like, oh, I can control my lead as well. For instance, what good everything I do, everything I ask, rather. But yeah, let's get going.
Tilda Chapter 71, Hailwolf is gathered. Opus Nost has his comet front, the same one created by Zami, and is piloting both himself and Diane, who has manipulated his weight to be far lighter.
I think that's something we can infer only if you only remember the end of book 3, so I guess it acts like a nice reminder. It's it just makes you wonder how to do reminders. I reckon there's some good novelists on YouTube being like, really, this is how to do reminders in ways that is justified, especially if there's been massive gaps, between, book to book.
They arrive at Hailwolf's
And yeah, I can't really say much about the image, that's the Numians world, because the Legion members on the right and the conference there, and it's been perfectly recreated thanks to Zami.
world, and Opus Nos.
That's interesting because in the storybook it was blue instead too, because it was like Zami colours, but if Zami managed to managed to create the same colour, then fair enough. But I don't know, I think these images are only there to help visualise the story a bit, but even then.
Is amazed by the world, full of greenery, snow, lakes and the northern lights which are full of animal spirits.
No snow on this image, but like I said, it's just only a visual thing. It could be like higher up in the mountains. So I'm not sure how much it was described in the second book, but I suppose it still looks nice, and this is how Apostle sees the world, a world he's never seen before.
Despite getting distracted, Opus Nost does land around a spare spot of
For a second, I thought the lakes were full of spirits too. To which they could be. They could be like underwater spirits. Oh, imagine like a spirit whale in the water, and then it floats out of the water. That sounds rather neat.
rock, concerning the Numians, including Hailwolf. But as they get out,
Sparkling distracted Vesnos does land around a. Hang on.
Hailwolf does recognize Diane thanks to the city battle. Land around a spare spot of rock, concerning the land around a spare. Despite getting distracted, Opus Nost does land around a spare spot of rock, concerning the Numians, including Hailwolf.
Oh yeah, I just suddenly remembered. So Apasnos recognises Hailwolf, and that's where they have like a small grudge against one another, which I think could have been made into something more interesting, even if this is like a rather good start, because this is I think this kind of affects one of the fights later on, but it could have just been, very nice to expand upon, with the Pasnos, being like, oh my gosh, you are part of Arizona's overthrowing, and with Beowulf being like, no, it wasn't like who forced me, I just had to hand myself in. But I think with the size of the conflict, not to mention they're a bit more background characters too. Yeah, I can see just this being like a smaller conflict, although even then it's still conflict that still gets knowledge and needs fixing. But I think it can be resolved anyway, especially with the others being like, what Wolf is saying is true. We were involved with pretty much getting her out of the zona too. So yeah. And yeah, looks like Hailwolf recognised Dion. Yeah, they only recognise and see one another. Not to mention, it wasn't just the city battle; it was also when Dion came to fight Ozona and help them all away from the planet.
But as they get out, Hailwolf does recognize Diane thanks to the city battle and is pleased to see him. Opus Nost is introduced to Hailwolf thanks to Diane. Both Opus Nost and Hailwolf have now met for the first time.
I'm not sure I said this before, but in the sequel, Apasnos and Hailwolf become quite close friends. So yeah, I think that's why their conflict kind of getting resolved is almost fast tracked. But I think they would just normally get on here, but become further friends in the sequel.
Hailwolf wonders why they are here, and Diane and Opus Nost are requesting her help to take down Xyanthor once and for all.
I thought that conflict would still come about now, but regardless, they're going straight to the point, which is rather good. So at least there's like a couple of bits and bobs until we're like, oh, definitely, we'll definitely go, straight to the point. Just after a couple of nice moments. Yeah, I feel like it's hard to do that correctly, being like, nice gathering, but we still got something to do.
Hailwolf becomes hesitant to leave because someone needs to protect her race, but her race encourages her to go, but even then, she still isn't keen. Diane
yeah, it's nice for the rest of her. Hang on, that sneeze. Anyway, so it's I think it's fine now. Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, so yeah, Herewolf is because from her perspective, she pandered herself in after letting the race down and then coming back in. She's done as well as she can to protect her race, and I don't know. I feel like she instead of her being sad that it's getting kind of underwhelming, she should be happy that she's in a more comfort zone, and then gets worried when she has to go on a mission, to make her stand up more. I reckon that would make more sense. But I like how a race is like, what, this will be like defending us already. So yeah, please do go stop Zion. We would have. I thought would the Numians get updated about Zion? Would that be because of Ozona, as he mentioned him before? And did he ever talk about Ozona in front of Hairwolf, or at least when Hairwolf's around and then Hairwolf's passed it on to them? Is that what the case is? Not to mention, she would have to be updated about the elements too. She's behind on that topic, more than anyone actually. But anyway, yeah, she's greatly hesitant, so that's what kind of slows her down.
Explains to her everyone is in danger anyway. Once Cyanthor has all the elements, no one is safe, so Hailwolf decides to go. Diane even
But yet again, does she even know what the elements are like? As it wasn't like not maybe being like Ozona and his power. That's one of the elements which is Armforth trying to get hold of, therefore reforming the whole universe.
explains that this elemental wave which Xyantha's father did once would form or diminish anything no matter how much protection is in front of them. This gets Hailwolf.
Oh yes, yeah, that's how powerful the wave is. Yeah, it's like matter and like matter alteration. That's how significant it is. Yeah, because it's not like, for instance, like a sun ray where it can at least hide, into shade. But yeah, but the wave is too powerful at that point where it could probably even alter light itself. Even the sun, etc., would be like part of vibro, wouldn't it? With the fire and the heat and that. This I don't know. I just feel like I was just a bit behind, to being told this information. If I was just told all of this for the first time, I'd be like, "What are you referring to? What do you mean? Like, who is all of this? Was I even told about Seinfeld before?"
More into the idea of joining the team, and the Numians even start to get nervous, but they believe in Hailwolf. Considering she has done
Yeah, it's nice for her to be encouraged as well. Yeah, she has her own hesitant reasons. So yeah, it's a good writing idea to have a lot of these characters be um just in those certain state of mind, which makes them like prone to losing. Something that's going to affect their performance and work it through in the end.
well so far. But Hailwolf, like before, is already getting homesick after settling for so long, feeling like a powerful figure.
Yeah, I can see that being a reasonable reaction, but yeah, she just left and then already missing the planet. Yeah, I reckon she was really tied to her world. Yeah, I can kind of see that happening.
Which would be far less than what Xyanthor has. As this happens, however, Opus Nost
Which would be less than what Zone 4 has. No, I don't know what that means. Sorry.
starts to get a tad off with Hailwolf because Opus Nost then recognizes Hailwolf as a former Ozona ally. To this, Diane tries to explain.
So I reckon it's one of those cases where Zona's like, wait a minute, now I recognise you. Yeah, probably was those kind of moments. I've already gone over how it looks like some bits and bobs get explored, but they probably could have been better. But anyway, still like as a like I said, like a more specific type of conflict between foes. It's actually probably the best example across this whole this book and specifically.
By stating that Hailwolf was never really on Ozona's side, with Hailwolf
To this. No, I don't know why that was written, sorry, but anyway, it looks like Dion's trying to help clean the air.
backing herself up too. Even then Opus
Never really, no, just not at all, she was forced.
Nost is still unsure. Still looking back on how much freedom
I thought Dion was a good speaker, unless he was lucky during those times, I'm not sure.
was lost because of Ozona. Finally, Diane wondered about them during the events caused by Torrid and Met.
Yeah, like, it would have reduced like the travelling and that, but I don't know, so that because Ozone Apasnos wasn't really like wanting to travel all the time, and oh well, actually no, it was wanting to fight all the time. Um, so yeah, I think Apasnos did reduce that kind of freedom for. So yeah, I think that's what it's implying.
Mechajaw, and Hailwolf has always tried to protect her race from both. Understanding that the foes the Legion are facing are
Um, During these events, finally, Dion wondered about them, as in the Nemeans, and yeah, it looks like Powell's done, rather well,
Tilda
to defend
Chapter
the race from these
71,
attacks. Yeah, it looks like
Hailwolf
they
is gathered.
seem to
Opus Nost
go
has his
along
comet front, the
okay, I
same one
think.
created by Zami, and is piloting both himself and Diane, who has manipulated his weight to be far lighter. They
Um, so the foes the Legion are facing are this powerful. Foes the Legion they are facing are this powerful, plus not as continuing to avoid. No, I keep getting lost.
arrive at Hailwolf's world, and Opus Nost is amazed by the world.
Um, Put these on. Oh, it's just explaining how Apostle managed to avoid the lot. Yeah, already. Okay. Because okay. Oh, anyway, so is this? Are they in the ship and they're already arguing and Stan haven't left yet? Is that what's happened?
Full of greenery, snow, lakes and the northern lights which are full of animal spirits. Despite getting his on, dodging
Hang on. Um. Oh yeah, I've already talked about this.
cubes or water along the way. Before they leave the planet, Diane has already made his collaptors to help them contact all the Legion members.
Oh yeah, because it's established that it has a load of spare ones. Lucky enough. So yes, everyone can communicate.
Now Opus Nost and Hailwolf are armed with one, and will be provided to whoever they ally with
Is armed the right term? I'm not sure.
two, not to mention Fletcher has one too.
Um. Yeah, it's just good to know because even if they don't come in use, at least it's there as preparation in just case they're far away and they need to communicate.
Meanwhile, Opus Nost and Hailwold are chatting with one another while
Wold, no, FD. Oh yeah, the F and D are right next to each other on the keyboard, so that's why. All right, so it looks like Dion managed to clear the air. Maybe I thought that something that comes up later on. Anyway, so it looks like they chat for a bit. I don't know what they chatted about, but regardless, Dion sent Dodd around and found out Pod. And as I remembered, I thought he was sinking into the ground unless a bit of movement was left. It's not. Oh, I don't know, because surely Mullig would have had enough time to complete the process, not like he got stuck midway. Because what's the point of sinking someone into the ground when you're just going to partially deal with a spell?
Diane scans around the universe to try and find Pod. Eventually, Diane finds reports of a badly beaten up Pod within Garup, so Diane gets Opus Nost to zoom into the
So, who witnessed this and how? And did they watch the attack from afar? Is that what's happened? Okay.
planet with lightspeed mode, and after a quick boost of light speed, they quickly enter the planet, jump out of the ship and pick up Pod. Diane
So, I forgot to write the part that Pod was within the ground. I don't know, even if it was like, because sometimes you can tell if a body's recently been interacted with, but why would that be evidence that's Pod? Alright, yeah. Cut.
thankfully has his next destination where he is going to get the next set of alliances, the Titan round.
And yeah, go into the Titran mode, yeah, and so yeah, and we already know the Titrans can heal, so yeah, Pod's going to be in good condition after this, which is good. I wonder how long he's been left there.
World and Pod need healing right now. And so, a couple of
Pod needs healing right now, sorry about that. Yeah, when he does wake up, I quite like the scene where it kind of takes his time for Pod to like wake up and slowly walk around because he's never been around. He has never been around the Titan planet before. So yeah, it's like a way for him to. Oh, I don't know. I think this scene would have worked better if this was actually the first time we saw the Titans, but that would have meant rewriting book 4. Um, and so yeah, and yeah, the way they're reunited with a lot of them all at once. So yeah, I think it's like a sense of relief, isn't it?
5 hours later, Pod wakes up in a cave full of healing beds, some of which have Titan rands
Full, so it looks like they made a lot of them, and it looks like there's just a cave dedicated to those.
on. Pod gets puzzled at first, but has a
Oh, um, they should be still healing because the healing is rather quick, isn't it? So was it like other accidents? Not like there've been another fights, unless oh, yeah, I don't know.
rough idea of where he is at. Pod then has a good look around.
I'm surprised. Well, yeah, I think every Titan will be updated that the Legion are around while they're being injured. And I say there wasn't really a scene where as Pod's on the ship, there's no like moments being like, oh no, gosh, there's Pod, hope he's fine, because it would have been the first time we've seen him in quite some time, and they're like, Pod's not skipping up Ireton.
And he eventually finds his exit out of the cave. This is where he sees Vonjor and Carpo chatting with
Finally, well, um, he, I think, well, if you're in an area, you don't know the exit. Yeah, it's not always very clear.
Dian, Opusnost, and Hailwolf, beings to whom he has never been
Okay, so both Cop and Rondor talking about plans, what to do next. Oh yeah, because if I don't know how much interaction Dion had with the Titrons, but this would have been the first time for Basnos and Hailwolf, which is addressed in a bit, I think. But yeah, Potter's never got to really meet Copper and Bondor properly. Oh, I know Dan has to, that's true. So yeah, but yeah, I think they're all just strictly talk business.
properly introduced. While this conversation is happening, both Carpo and
There is the run-in within the hash twos, but I suppose it still counts. Yeah, it wasn't like the best like starting point.
Vonjor try to not only practice his vegetation manipulation, but he tries to perform the most complicated trick in the Titanran's book, healing vines. So far,
if they literally have a book. Um, um, okay, so as they've been having a conversation, yeah, so they're just practicing in the meantime. Yeah, they must be able to multitask well. Yeah, does it? Has it been hinted yet about Vondor not always being the biggest fan of vegetation, and how much progress or how good are they at to perform this ability? Because oh my gosh, yeah, Carpo, does he not quite get it? Which means that the other Titrans are unfortunately is injured, but there's no vehicles to leave Earth, so everyone on Earth does get stranded except for Dion. But Bondor manages to work it out for what reason. Because you would think Carper gets it first because he's more into the vegetation and probably the more experienced fighter of the two.
only Carpo knows the healing vine well. Vonjor has practiced loads just in case despite being more of a fist
Oh, okay. I just wondered how any of that pays off. But yeah, how does Vonda work it out in the end?
fighter, practicing just in case. The rest are too practicing, but they have only done so recently
Okay, so yeah, it is like a useful skill to have, even if he is, as mentioned, yeah, his first kind of approach.
after Carpo and Vonjor got their teeth into such a tricky skill. After a quick conversation about alliances,
Um, so the others are practicing it too. Well, I suppose it's Pandy. Um, yeah, okay.
and even giving Livinga more of a defense, everyone is glad to see Pod. Even Hailwolf gives Pod a massive hug. Pod does get worried about seeing Carpo and Vonjor.
Oh, okay. How much interaction do they have together? Well, I suppose it's probably like a relief to see someone a bit more familiar. And but yeah, they just yeah, they're just both happy whilst keeping on point.
But Carpo turns out to be welcoming while Vonjor is slightly skeptical of Pod. This is what Pod is aware of but doesn't want to add to the
Um, uh, yeah, that matches with what we know so far. Yeah, they never got to meet each other again. Yeah, Pod and those two at the point where I could see why um, how their fear of Pod doesn't quite change, but they have to be a bit more open-minded because of the scenario they're in. But they still have biases nonetheless.
conflict that is already around. Xyanthor is the problem, not Vondur. And so with Pod up and ready,
Um, this is what Pod is aware of, but always, yeah, that's sensible of him. Yeah, so yeah, Pod just wants to get it all yeah. I guess there has been times where Pod has been more of a argumentative kind of individual, holding things behind, but he never really had that kind of thing. So you would think that Pod would be like, do you have a problem? We've got a thing to sort out first. But if you want to put it aside, then fair enough. I just wonder if that's in character or not. But I suppose they could have had a brief argument only for the others to be like, we don't have time for this.
the defenses start to get formed, all sorts of sentinel plants to
Yeah, definitely. Time for you. They definitely want to get rid of. Yeah, especially Pod's like already keen on round two. Probably thinking of him only really.
which the Titan
How did Pod and Pebble feel after the interaction then? Guess it's just a quick hello and then back to work.
Rands can control. With some Titan Rands okay with the idea of leaving their world to benefit.
Yeah, and also if these are living plants, I think what it means is that they're plants that are like made to be active. I think that's what that means. But anyway, got the defenses up, so yeah, that helps.
The likes of the other Legion team, even Diane
Titran's been okay with.
updates them all on what Zamis team is up to. But Diane.
Oh, okay. Well, that would have to be properly discussed somewhat because it's stated that all Titrans like stick together, but yeah, in this case, I think they do have to split when necessary. Although that hasn't really come to that yet. Do they? Has it been stated that? Oh no, Dion's now sent to Nerf, but I don't know. I feel like this thing about the Titrans being okay with splitting this one time. It should be said after all of this because because they didn't know anyone was leaving the planet. If anything, the first idea was that they're all going to stay there, and Dion he was going to go there with some Titrans to fight Xyanthor and Vata, which there would be greatly against anyway.
Also senses that Earth is about to be in danger. Xyanthor and Vata are starting to enter a public area.
Okay, so they have communicated a bit, so they already know about the Homota thing. And not to mention, I feel like Pod's team feels a bit more. I don't know. I just feel like I've got more out of them compared to Zaminicon and Fletcher, but that might just be me. Although, not to mention, these two chapters are quite extensive, so we don't see Zaminicon and Fletcher for quite some time, actually.
Some of the public recorded Xyanthor and Vata as unknown UFOs, but walking instead of.
They got quite a way away, but Point Store said
flying. And so, Diane decides to fly to the Earth, and those offering Titan Rands.
That's not a great line. But I suppose some people are like, hang on, they'll be like recording, being like, who are these? Come from far away.
Decide to come, including Carpo, with Vondur wanting to stay on the planet. Pod and the others thought to come, but considering.
They don't really have time to discuss, like the number of Titrans. So it looks like they're just happy to have half for once. It's all about the same cause after all.
The allies that are still around, they decide to stay on the same planet with Livinga just in case it's a trap. Pod also thought it was worth mentioning that the amulet cannot only be temporarily stunned if hit.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's one reason why they're splitting the teams is they're shifting teams entirely. Also, when it was talk about Titrans leaving the planets, was that just like an idea, like if the elements needed protection elsewhere. Like I'm sure they would have been able to do that, but as it turns out, yeah, the Cybertrons get injured and stranded on Earth, and the those in um but yeah, those protecting the Vigor I think get injured as well at a point where only Vondor could go around. So they split the legions as well, which is also a smart move, I reckon. Yeah, because Vondor and Karp are most likely the best Titron fighters.
Hitting it hard enough, but that Xyanthor already had Ozona's power.
Okay, so this is something that Pod saw and is passing on to the others. So you have very handy power, and not to mention that Ozona already has one of the elements. So at least that'll be easier than, I don't know, having 2 or 3.
Tilda Chapter 71, Hailwolf is gathered. Opus Nost has his comet front.
Oh, yeah, end of chapter. Let's get going. Yeah, so as I mentioned, so both this scene alongside the following fight scene, they pretty much happen simultaneously. And as you'll see later on, there is the line where it talks about, it already says how Livengor was lost, and yet you still see how the the fight plays out, which is, yeah, it's, I don't know, it sounds like a very back and forward kind of way of telling the story, but I don't know, I just feel like it should have been like, oh, despite Dion losing to the others, back down on this planet, will those who protect the 5 life force succeed at least? Because the story could take a quite interesting turns where Xyanthor doesn't gain all the elements, but to outright state that the Legion were lost, where you're part of the Legion lose the element, and it's already stated ahead of time. Yeah, just something about that which I find quite odd. And anyway, let's just see how this scene goes about.
Tilda Chapter 72, Xyanthor and Earth. Retron has sat alone in his office, trying to enjoy his nostalgic photos online, but eventually stopped.
Online? I thought he would be able to browse that through the Collabter like Mike did, but anyway, that's already like one thing both of them have in common. And so, yeah.
Seeing that his nostalgia has wrapped around him. He does keep tabs on the servicemen, as the servicemen continue to help the public.
And also, yeah, looks like Retron has finally started to see his ways, and yeah, it's primarily because of losing the fight to the Legion, which is an okay reason, but there should have been a bit more to it to really show that Retron finally changed after multiple events not convincing his main belief. But yes, so he's still working, just with the serviceman contacting him, and Retron probably knowing what to do, with, being at risk. Yeah, because you would think it's probably, I don't know, like a politician or a speaker or an activist who would help organise these bits and bobs. But if it means protecting the public, then yeah, I can see why Electron is, making himself responsible to make sure everyone's okay.
Such as small,
or whether the whether Electron did really care about the public or not.
Crimes or organising the balance of food with everyone.
So that's just a couple of examples. Yeah, just short, straight to the point. And I think it's probably written that short because it's just going to show that Retron's not doing much.
The president, however, enters the base to go and see Retron. The president is told by the Legion that Retron refused and lost a fight he started. Retron.
So I think it's okay to be told. Well, there could have been like a line where Nicole says, "Oh, we're not just going to send this the president a text, that Retron refused to join." But now it's told here, it's like a case of, oh, okay, so that's how that got clarified. So anyway, yeah, they're them to have a really good chat. Let's see how that goes.
And tries to get the president to leave and gets sad to the point where he slouches to the ground. The president then decides to get off his wheelchair and sit next to him. The president
I don't know why the word next had a dash before the word, but yeah, it just looks like Retron is like extremely sad, and the president is sits with him, which is already like a very nice moment, because even though they've been talking mostly about the business side of things, I think it's just like a moment where there can actually be people and try and communicate.
Reminisces about the good times with Retron, and the president only talks about them because he knows that Retron has enjoyed all those times before. Now it's time to let
Um, oh, yeah, yeah, I guess it is. Um, let's see. Um, yeah, I think it is the president probably provided some levity, being like, yeah, where those were some rather good moments, weren't they? But what does he say after?
them go to cope with the new era, a possible era where the Legion is.
Um, I feel like it's a bit too harsh of a line there. But I think overall it should be, it's just basically, how the veterans should be able to move on. And but yeah, I just felt like that line should be written better. Not to mention, just needed more of a original premise, instead of just being like, oh, like yes, you draw those past times, but you got to move
The
on.
best hope for the universe. The president also
Um, yeah, of course, yeah, the president recognises that.
apologizes for the times the two have argued and other cases like the other politicians removing power from Retron, which the president was reluctant to do. But even then,
But what power though? Because Retron was still given the same label, unless it's just more so about um, just Retron not being able to do certain things despite retaining his position, and but yeah, at least there's those bits and bobs which are clarified as well. With how the power conversion um, um, started to come about. So it's like some political reasons which are lightly clarified, which, yeah, because politics can be such a hard subject to grasp sometimes, it's sometimes best to just to simplify it, and that's where you're like, okay.
everyone faulted what had been happening recently, so no one escaped unscathed. Even the president nearly
Um, yeah, it's just like a way of saying that everyone has their fault in it, and uh, I don't, what did the president do wrong? I'm not sure. Um, 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 and oh, well, hang on. So, so yeah, the president did yeah, apologise for what happened then. So I wondered if they've weren't like friends properly. When presidents like I've got to have to do this. We'll discuss Retron and got to ditch the military defence idea and so forth. I feel like there should be a bit more of a discussion about that. Yeah, because even that just kind of flew by.
lost his role too early until he had to convince the others why he was still worthy. As Retron listens to all of this,
Oh wow, okay. Well, how did he manage to keep his position? But I don't know. I just would have liked to know what he did wrong, unless Alan Rattroy the defences, and I don't know, was like have enough idea, or if the Legion shouldn't have been a thing in the first place. Yeah, I'm really lost.
and thinks, Retron swallows this sour pill. After Nicole beats Retron,
Um, I didn't find that advice very is captivating the right word, or just not very yeah. It just doesn't really sell me. I'm not sold.
Retron gets more of an understanding, wishing he wasn't so hooked on the past. The president then gets himself up
Good concept. It just would have needed a bit more to it. Yeah.
back on the wheelchair, and as he leaves, he makes a joke with Retron that the president does miss his legs, but he remains interested in ruling the world in the best way he can. With Zyantha's team having a good idea
Um, yeah, it's just um, yeah, just like a nice way to end the conversation. Yeah, I think everyone would to have a think of about how he could do the do what he thinks is the next best thing to do, after being so hooked to the past.
for where each element is at. They have an efficient idea for the goons to go to the Titanran planet.
Wait, who has a good idea? Let me just go back a bit.
Is interested in ruling the world in the best way he can. with Xyantha's team having a good idea for where each element is at.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, they already talked. Yeah, we've already gone over that. Yeah.
They have an efficient idea for the goons to go to the
I'm just gonna go a step back just in case. Oh, no, okay.
Titan, with Xyantha's team having a good idea for where each element is at. They have an efficient idea for the goons to go to the Titanran planet to get hold of Livinga.
Okay, yes, that's where the science sees bit teens, which is, yeah, fair enough.
As they think they might have it back, plus now they can locate the Titanran planet properly.
Yeah, with the GPS, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, they think that Titrans could have it. Yeah, he's still going for that planet regardless, which is definitely worthwhile either way.
It is already time to wipe the race from the map. Hermota is also a target, and they think it would have been taken by the Legion as they were the ones to beat Torrid.
Yeah, whilst these kind of ideas were explored before, it's like expanding on it, and but I feel like that kind of expansion should have been stated, whilst we're all talk about the elements destinations, but now they have, clearer paths, etc. That's where, just go straight to, talk about splitting the team, with Living Quite a Motor. Yeah, yeah, so it just leaves Vibra being the, the last one. Yeah, I'm kind of curious, like, what if they, went for the more filled planets first, unless these two are closer, but also, why not stick together? I don't know.
So the next two destinations have been made, and they will then unite again once both elements are collected. They can then
Um, okay, yeah, it's just their meeting spot, yeah, of course.
plan to get the next two. Mollug is the only
Um, no, they're already getting two, just leaves one more left.
goon to make their way to Earth with Xyanthor and Vata, and the rest go in their ship from Mollug's book while the same one is for the Earth, and so Xyanthor, Vata
So firstly, there's a space and a capital A for and here, so that's a literacy problem. But secondly, when do they get a chance to quickly build a second ship, whilst they're all up in space? Unless they Monarch formed a second ship whilst they're still on the Green Apes planet, is that what happened?
and Mollug have all arrived on Earth, looking around the planet, finding it fascinating yet not too appealing. Mainly
Oh yeah, of course not, no, because it's a post-apocalyptic. So yeah, so yeah, it's good to see what they think of the planet.
because of the damage from both Torrid and Mechajor. Vata tries to compare how bad the Earth looks compared to what their world used to be like. Xyanthor
Um, yeah, if they're all talking about the settings around them, then that's where they're like, our world was, a lot better than this, wasn't it? I know it's got wrecked, but still a lot better, didn't it? And yeah, this is where Bata like tries to apologise after Zion Falls, being like, what's all of this about? And I think the apology somewhat works, and thankfully they do have some other scenes together before they all sadly go.
sees this nostalgia as mushy, and Vata then decides to apologize for everything from the insults to the forced training. Xyanthor
Certainly enough, it's like enough time to see how everything's about, but the other thing Bata's like, if I finally apologise, I think things will go a bit smoothly.
does admit that while his upbringing wasn't the best, it still made him a figure who is feared by others, which he likes a lot. Not to mention Vata
Oh yeah, so that's where he's somewhat thankful for that. I think he would have looked back on that. Yeah.
sees how capable Xyanthor is now compared to what he used to be, making Vata state,
Yeah, we've only seen Zonford do, the fight against Pod and then the Green Apes. Yeah, I think that could already see, how capable, Zonford is.
that Xyanthor is certainly worthy of handling all the elements, and will do a better job with them than Vata
Despite only having one, I think Zonford seems to be rather confident.
ever did. As Xyanthor and Vata
I feel like this is all going a bit too quick. It just goes back to how I'm a bit lost with who um, like what stage they think of each other and why that decided to come back and why he's being apologetic. I just feel like there should be a lot more menacing, or maybe it could have had it to be a race with Zanfort and Vater, like maybe a race against one another, only to then clear things out. Yeah, I think that would have been better.
Start to get walking, they encounter a human hiker with a dog, appearing
Start to get walking. I'm not sure if that sentence works or not. Anyway, been spotted by a human of some kind. Oh yeah, the reason I added this, by the way, I don't know what type of dog, but the reason I've added those two is it was like a way to show that to Zanfort Batter they do spare those who aren't a threat, which is it adds like something to them, because sometimes when you see villains just fight everything and everyone, but then there's opportunity where they don't fight, and it's because there's like no need to, or there's other deeper reasons. And yeah, this is almost like an example.
from behind a selection of rocks. And this is where both duos are freaked out by each other. Whilst the dog
I like how I bought human hiker, just in case it was an alien Roman.
walker is spooked, Xionthor and Vater later see that neither is a threat, even though the dog is curious rather than threatened. Xionthor then slowly goes up to the hiker. And Xionthor asks what he does and what the Earth has been like. The hiker is someone distant from the
Oh, okay, so that is just no, sorry, Xyphos just casually getting some information. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's a nice way to update yourself. I don't know when they've last been on Earth, but yeah, I bet the Taurus was a bit on edge. I thought was Xyphos start speaking English and start asking these things. Yeah.
whole of society, but as far as he knows, there is crime here and there, but
Yeah, I can imagine why. Yeah, if they like the rural areas.
the whole world is so downtrodden at a point where everyone is bored, no one is up for doing anything fun.
But yeah, it doesn't sound like a very promising planet Earth. Yeah, I bet after Xyphos Bata spoke to him, they were like, there's no point in that, wasn't there? You should have just turned the other way.
All focusing on survival. After hearing this, Xionthor and even Vater get the idea that Earth could now be more of a peaceful and controlled planet, especially with no Legion members in their sight.
Like you'll still need to update it loads with the elemental wave, and also with them wants to get rid of the servicemen. Um, but um, yeah, and um, so yeah, I just see more.
Aside from Pod. Even the hiker says that the base is hardly active these days. But
After hearing that sign for an even that get an idea, especially in one each moves. Yeah, so it's just like a way of thinking that like every other planet, presumably in Earth will be like more in their control, etc. Probably like worst in their zone. I guess we'll wait and see. And oh yeah, the reason Pod's mentioned here is because they think they've got rid of him, and so yeah, he's the ability Legion member that's encountered them thus far, and we're quite a way into the story actually.
Thor still considers getting rid of those people, perhaps convincing the servicemen to stop their job role to prevent anyone from suffering on Earth. Xionthor and Vater can't look at a suffering.
That's I don't know. It's just that maybe Zyphor could be like, I can be the overseer to make sure peace continues all about. So servicemen, you better change your job or else. I guess that's something. Like imagine if Zyphor was so much of a control freak, he would want to be like
world without thinking of
that the protector of everything. As if he was like making himself better than Dion. That could have been something. For as I'm for being jealous of Dion from time to time.
Their own. They may give Earth a chance despite the past annoyance, but over time they will see and say.
Oh, okay, so yeah, that must be kind of hard for them in some way.
Sense what else to diminish in the universe. This is another perk that the elements can provide.
Oh yeah, with the elements, yeah, because as it's probably implied, when it comes to the first elemental wave, and then when Dion does it, it's just like I think when they release it, that's where they start to sense everything, and they whatever they wish to change, that's what they do, and especially once the wave start getting nearby.
Embodying all of creation can enable anyone to be omnipresent, even able to perform moves like adding vegetation to multiple.
Um, 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 oh yeah, it provides omnipresence. Yeah, yeah. Of course, you want the growth in the machine. I think. Yeah, after getting all the elements.
Even able to perform moves like adding vegetation to multiple planets whilst sitting in a room in another world.
Oh, yeah. It's just describing more the omnipresence, which is handy.
And so, both Xionthor and Vata start to face the public, asking them where the cube element is.
Um, well, I guess if they, well, what I do, I think it's just double checking if whether they're residential or not. But um, anyway, so yeah, Xantho and Vata go like off they go, and well, yeah, just going to the people, and it's already a diversion because of Molag already going to see the mountain, especially with the invisibility spell and the element sensing. Um, so it's kind of smart to still try to get answers, but also create a diversion at the same time, because yeah, that's all that and the others could think about.
Molag is ahead to try and locate it himself, but Xionthor thought asking would provide more of a head start.
Oh yeah, because always Molag's like kind of going around in circles. But if he's put consensus in the mountain, that should be something without needing to ask. Although you never know.
President and the servicemen see this, and so while the servicemen hide and make their way slowly to Xionthor via cover.
Um. Oh, okay. So yeah, they've been spotted, and so they're just preparing themselves for an attack, I presume. Although, what will Signford do to, unless they know what he's looked like, to which that's unlikely. Um. But let's see.
Tilda Chapter
Um.
72, Xionthor and Earth.
There's,
Retron has sat alone in his office, trying to enjoy his nostalgic photos online, but eventually stops,
Yeah, I think
seeing that
Signford
his
will have to
nostalgia
say,
has
have
wrapped
to do
around
or
him.
say something
He does
threatening to
keep
justify
tabs on the
this.
servicemen, as the
Justify being attacked in Signford because he could have been innocent.
servicemen continue to help the public, such as small crimes or organizing the balance of food.
Oh, okay, so they're just straight up asking, just clarify who they are. But I think once Signford back to give like a really nasty impression, that's where residents like, okay, fair enough, all guns blazing.
With everyone. The president, however, enters the base to go and see Retron. The president is told by the Legion that Retron refused and lost a fight he started. Retron tries.
Oh yeah, because if the president was, in a controlled mindset despite being kept hostage by other aliens, then yeah, this is the same character who can confront the aliens, slightly scared, but yeah, he's still full of confidence.
Tries to get the president to leave and gets sad to the point where he slouches to the
Always certain, yeah, but it's oh yeah, it's described, yeah, and yeah, the president, lucky enough, is the one that get rid of Morag, just planting the explosive onto the book, therefore getting rid of both the book and Morag. Although I think the book is redundant anyway. Yeah, I think that just goes to show why no one else has this as well. So once again, it's making a human character stand out, but why doesn't everyone else have these abilities? I feel like these humans would have loads, or maybe like a certain type of guns, depending on where you are, sniper, machine gun, etc.
ground. The president then decides to get off his
It should be sticky instead, but I think that's still fine.
wheelchair and sit next to him. The president reminisces about the
Oh, okay, so yeah, that makes the first move. Okay, so yeah, I wonder why. I think it must be because I'm falls like more in the conversation and for that too. Um, although who does to try and go for the president or are the servicemen giving like bad vibes?
good times with Retron, and the president only talks about them because he knows that Retron has enjoyed all those times before.
Um, so he didn't. So his on for etc. Didn't get like any specific answers. So they just started fighting. But I suppose Monarch can still find his way to like get the elements. Yeah, especially the box since it was set up.
Now it's time to let them go to cope with the new era, a possible era.
Oh, okay. So that's why the visibility spell can't be used in um can be used in combat situations. So yeah, that's good to clarify.
Era where the Legion is the best hope for the universe. The President
Yeah, as in like fighting the both the president and servicemen, even later Retron and even later Trans and Dion.
also apologizes for the times the two have argued,
Um, I think we can imply that. Thank you.
and other cases like the other politicians removing power from Retron, which the President was reluctant to do. But even then, everyone faulted what had been happening recently.
That's a weird thing as well. So you can use both, like it's like either or. Use telekinesis to defend or keep force field up to defend attacks. But I guess he's like using a combination of both, which is slightly over the top power wise. But um, I don't know. Yeah, it just goes back to how if the abilities aren't categorized so carefully and for certain purposes, then yeah, it can just create like a bit of a mix up.
So no one escaped unscathed. Even the President nearly lost his role too early until
How many servicemen are there? There must be a good few too. Yeah, I reckon just a good few.
he had to convince the others why he was still worthy. As Retron listens to
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, because Zion was trying to speak to them, like like the servicemen garage in a specific area, whatever that is. Yeah, like I said, if we want improvement, it would have been all of the humans to pretty much sticking to one location to help each other out, because everywhere on Earth is slightly barren, regardless.
all of this and thinks, Retron swallows this sour pill. After Nicole beats Retron, Retron gets more of
Oh, okay, that's rather good. Yeah, just giving them a chance. But if, although, hang on, why did Vato attack first? Like the serviceman should have at least give off a bad impression, um, and then yeah, Vato then does it, like on the humans' side of things. But no, they're just gonna keep fighting each other.
an understanding, wishing he wasn't so hooked on the past. The President then gets himself up
Um, yeah, was this something to do with the residents as well? I guess we'll wait to see.
back on the wheelchair, and as he leaves, he makes a joke with Retron that the President does miss his legs, but he
Oh, there you go. How many Titran, by the way?
remains interested in ruling the world in the best way he can. With Zyantha's team having
Yeah, of course, it's just popped up right there.
a good idea for where each element is at. They have an efficient idea for the goons to go to the Titanran.
Wait, who did what? Does make it to. Um, well, I don't think the president would have, because Retron's not in the battle, unless he's talking about how the president did help Retron earlier, therefore getting him on board.
And cruise starts to occur from light speed, even making the public of Earth and some injured servicemen interested in the huge ship.
Yeah, of course.
Not to mention the President does make it to Retron, trying to aid him. But mainly glad that help is around, knowing enough about Diane and seeing the Titanran's efforts for when the Earth had its biggest flood ever.
Oh yeah, so this is yes, they are familiar with these bits and bobs, yeah. Although with Dion, it's more so with the city, but at least they are recognised. Also, there's the image below. You can see some Force absent servicemen and that pushing the president back and dangling one serviceman. There's another one on the left as well. So yeah, and even these destroyed houses at the back. It's not the most detailed Severton ever, but how these buildings are kind of wrecked. Yeah, I kind of like the look of them.
With many Titanrans jumping out, including Carpo, some of the Titanrans run to the fight. The rest form vines which are to tangle both Vata and Xyanthor, and Diane has come along too.
Oh, you use the vegetation tangle. Yeah, that's already a good yeah, like a good strategy if that was what was implied. And yeah, let's just see what the more the strategy is like.
Diane goes to Vata with some servicemen helping Diane, while Xyanthor.
Oh yeah, because what I also done is because of Dion already fighting a lesser powered Seinfeld before, he primarily fights Thatcher instead and loses because of how powerful our Haphazard are. Although I feel like Thatcher should be at a disadvantage because of the injuries he's got, but oh well, I suppose just how hard it is to fight that race. But yeah, what about the others?
Thor fights the rest of the servicemen and the entire Titanrans. Zion Thor uses his
Wait, what? Oh, so Thatcher's yeah, it's Thatcher against Dion and the servicemen, but Seinfeld's fighting against the Titans. Yeah, okay, so that's somewhat equaled out.
superior martial arts to beat up each Titanran. Able to rip away any vines off him and using Forza to give him a good advantage, throwing the Titanrans away using his strength or zapping other ones until they are fried, and this goes on until Carpo ends up being the last Titanran standing. As Carpo
Yeah, right here that was a bit more specific, lightning to zap the lot, and yeah, he already has the strength or even the lightning to get rid of the vines off him. So I like how that was a bit more specific for once. Although I just wondered how you can get more creative with the element other than just using zap and etc.
loses round 1. The president tries to fire at Xionthor via his gun, and before Xionthor goes for the president, swinging him off his wheelchair, Retron fires his sniper, trying to fire at Xionthor's face, and the president is
Oh yeah, something else I thought about is that I wondered if Seinfeld's eyes are like strong enough to withstand injury, because that seems to be a thing in fiction where even though invincible characters are just invincible, it just makes you wonder about their eyes. But I tell you one thing that one piece of media that confirms this, Superman Returns, where even a bullet would completely be crushed against Superman's eye if it was shot there, which is a yeah, I like that being a confirming thing. And so yeah, it's good. It's good for the president to try and carry on fighting. Trying to help everyone. Yeah, it's just very noble of him, especially with him used to be a soldier. But yeah, looks like whilst Retron should have had like a moment to be like, oh no, what's going on out here, etc., and just wondering what to do. But then to stay but retain as a sniper that is far away was being helpful. Yeah, it's like first Doctor is redemption. That's it. And even yeah, does Retron use a more powerful sniper? Hence why Design 4 goes for him specifically.
that Retron is helping. Retron does start to accept
Yeah, of course.
that he may be too small to be the best hero in the universe, but it doesn't mean that he can still help. Being at his best, he can still be the hero.
Yeah, not to mention, right, what he possibly would have done is, he's saved the president. That's still a massive goal, even if it isn't as big as, protecting the whole world, like the Legion, or like saving it a couple of times recently, like the Legion have done. Because I think that's how Retron could have felt undermined, how yeah, just like Retron thinking he wasn't good enough, but he saved the president, and the president will definitely continue ruling the earth for as long as he does, and so yeah.
From all those years ago. Sadly,
And yeah, I was surprised there's no like scene later on with Retron given some kind of acknowledgement that he's helped save the president, because that's a big deal actually. And whilst you still want the Legion's victory to be as big as grand as deserving as it is, but I think the president at least, well, yeah, definitely will remember that Retron saved in that day.
Xionthor jumps towards Retron near the base.
So from all of those years ago, yeah.
And Xionthor produces.
Oh, was it like a massive pie jump? Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, from the super strength and that.
A lightning strike that zaps nearby Retron before Carpo's vines drag Xionthor back into the fight, even trying to hit Xionthor's amulet.
So I guess Xionthor jumped. I guess by jumping out of the way means that he's, it means that none other of his foes are getting in the way. So it's almost like the space. Because for a second I thought Xionthor was gonna like land on Retron, which would have been still horrific. But anyway, so it looks like just Xionthor just gives himself like some space, and then oh yeah, because this could be the town most likely, even if all the humans are gathered around this area. But well, I'm sorry, that's headcanon. But anyway, so Xionthor is so So Zap's nearby Retron. So if it's nearby, why not directly? Unless the vines distract Signfall somewhat, but still manage to land a shot. A shot then sort of becoming fatal in the end. But yeah, Carpet's vines enough to pull him back. So wow, okay.
amulet. The president tries to hide in cover.
Wow, go for it already. Yeah, that's good.
Mollog is about to enter the mountain. And most servicemen are gone with
Um, that's two weird sentences coming together. It should say, meanwhile, the residents hiding, and then no, because they both had nothing to do one another. That need to be all different, do different sentences. So yeah, the president stays in cover, and Roy probably should be shooting at Batter or something, or even Zeinvold to help either side out. Well, no, just help his friends, and even but and then it should be, and then in the meantime, even Vater no, sorry, even the monarchs invented the mountain. He's not there.
very few left to fight, but Diane keeps trying to fight Vatter, and Zionthor has another round with Carpo. Despite Diane's efforts,
Yep, so the fight's a lot more controlled. It's like two fighting duos, and unfortunately both bad guys win, even if they lose Monologue. So it does feel like some kind of victory for the bad guys, but it comes at the cost of Monologue. So it just goes to show that even the villains are going through some kind of hardships.
Vatter, considering his armor and pain tolerance, can defeat Diane via punches and pulling his limbs, damaging Diane badly. Diane loses abilities, and
Um, okay, so yeah, that can tolerate pain. Okay, so that explains why the injuries aren't affecting him much. But yeah, he's got a good upper hand against Dion. I wonder what he managed to do, especially with no energy. What's it? Ian, why didn't Cypher like zap Dion significantly, and then that means no weapons that Dion can summon, and then yeah, and then that's an advantage to damage Dion then.
making Diane nothing but a chain of metal, only able to turn his head. Carpo,
Loses abilities. Okay, and oh gosh, yeah, he sounds badly damaged after this description.
however, begins his round with Zionthor by punching the amulet first, making Zionthor unable to use Forza, but
Um, oh wow, it goes to the amulet again, so that's either keeping it stunned or sorry, either keeping it stunned or hit it again once its powers up, or at least like an effort to get it off him, because it's his power after all, like a powerful form of energy. Yeah, if you need to get rid of it, you never know, by hitting the amulet it could even damage Zionfall, which I say could have been a better idea for a rewrite.
Zionthor's fighting skills are like mixing a dozen senseis into one. So Carpo is down despite a good few whacks,
Oh gosh, yeah, that does make him very tricky.
and with the help of vines to drag Zionthor into the ground. But Carpo is punched so hard that he flies across the land, struggling to stand. And this is where Mollog quickly arrives to see
Yeah, that's yeah, I like how specific these actions were. So yeah, he's sinking Zionfall to the ground, but then yeah, Cobb just gets thrown across. So he's pretty much out of the picture, and yeah, he just slowly makes his way, even at a point where President and Carpo don't really know what to do. And yeah, I think Carpo does still heal himself and the others, right? If he is set up to use the healing vine, but once again, if none of that happens, then we're going to have a contradiction.
Zionthor, and with Vatter coming to Zionthor too, now no more active servicemen are around. Before Mollog provides his update, Zionthor
Oh gosh, are they all gone or just injured? Like there would be some remaining, that's for sure, because of the stars, so there must be some badly injured at worst.
belittles
No, badly injured at best, but dead at worst. Sorry, I struggle to use that phrase.
Carpo and the Titanrans as Zionthor mocks them for thinking they can bring back any races they want. While some of it could have been worthy, many other races.
That's a lengthy sentence. Anyway, so no more active citizen for an update and for belittles. I thought he was thrown across the building. Why is Alan taking the chance to belittle Carper unless he just walked up to him? I think that would have to be the case. So Carper and the side. So Zionforce just dissing the Titans. So he just decides to belittle them despite nothing he would gain from it. Unless it's like a dissuasion if they ever come into action again, which is unlikely he's never going to see any of them again. Uh, Gosh, yeah, they're monologuing, am I right? Um, and oh yeah, even Zyphor kind of well, at least Zyphor does, even if it's a weird monologue, and at least it's like a chance to. Well, I tell you what, if Carpo is going to be like left alive, knowing that they're stranded in this world, to which can't really leave it to chance, because they should make sure that they have no means of air flying. But yeah, I think Zyphor blitting them for almost like playing God with bringing back races and repopulating some. Yeah, that is an interesting argument they both could have, but unfortunately we don't get that. It's a real shame because imagine if during the fight, yeah, it's Carpo and Seinfeld talking about what they think is right or wrong, and obviously Carpo is far more on the correct side of things, but whilst also seeing on Seinfeld's perspective.
Shouldn't come back, Xyanthor and Vata will not have their work get undone. He tells
Yeah, I think all of the most of the races they've. I think Seinfeld definitely bring back like a certain few, but not all of them as the Titantrons are aiming. Imagine if Carpo says, "Oh, we're even thinking of repopulated race too. We could probably like work together or something. Have Carpo be more of a someone to try and help him out, and if there's Seinfeld to be like, no, I just want my control."
them that Titanrans aren't needed. And Xyanthor tells Carpo and the rest that they should look back on their whole
I suppose because of Seinfeld seeing himself like better. Yeah.
existence, as it will all go thanks to the next elemental wave. Not to mention, once Xyanthor has the full power,
Yeah, just once again like a time to like belittle them, before they all go, which fine, but like I said, they should make sure there's no means of escaping. But not to mention, why not get rid of them just in case they do like leak, say, a piece of information, or who knows.
of the elements. Life can be created instantly compared to the slow method that the Titanrans have to perform, which the goons have updated Xyanthor as they fight for living.
Yeah, I was thinking of something like that. Yeah, so I think that's like a decent counter at first, but once again, at least Carpo is a bit, yeah, just far more moral with how life is all about, or what life's all about, as in life forms.
During this battle on Earth, despite many usages of the elements around the planet.
Um, oh yeah, so that's like evidence of the Oh no, so I think that update should be like the ending sentence by being like, oh, they're about to update Zionfire. It makes you wonder, oh, what's it going to be? So yeah, that should be saved for later instead of backsteady admitting that the other team lost, only to see that in action, and you kind of wonder what the point of it is. Because, like I said, it's not impossible to sometimes go back into a film and be like, oh, this is how this is played out. But I think it's the conclusion that's not answered. I think that's the difference. Because the only film I can think of that does that is I tell you what, because EastEnders had that was it like a 4-part anniversary at one point where like it did used to keep going back in time and events did happen simultaneously and then even if they repeated it each time, it always stopped at a certain point, but it didn't reveal the ultimate conclusion, which was the sad death of one of the characters. That's what was kept ambiguous. So what I've done was a bit like that, but 2 plot lines instead of 4, and I've still messed it up by um, just by like I said, accidentally leaking the conclusion. Maybe, oh, I don't know, because it's not clever to admit a lot and then just play the entire thing. It's not right.
What used to be Hermota's spot as Mollug identified minor amounts.
What? What's that weird pronunciation? Oh, usages. Oh, okay. I think that is a term. Sorry. I wonder what that is. And it's around the planet.
Amounts of energy left behind was not present overall, and so they all decide to leave. Even Xyanthor uses Forza to crush
Okay, so that explains a bit on Moloch's side of things.
the Titanran ship, wrecking it.
Yeah, good idea to leave. They pretty much won the battle, but as you'll later find out. Oh, okay, so yeah, I don't know about Earthcrust, but he did crush the Titan cruise to do that. Okay, that's yeah, that's a good thing. But yeah, wow, forced to crush a giant ship like that. Wow, that's rather good. And yeah, so yeah, Copper definitely has no way out. So yeah, that definitely confirms that side of things. But yeah, as you see later, the president is about to shot on Moloch.
But they use the wrist device
I guess it makes you wonder, like should be any setup about the president taking down Moloch in that way? And whilst obviously there's nothing they're obviously not spoken at all. But I guess it's like one of those moments where another significant character takes down another one. So it's yeah, because I guess if they're both like minor characters and they do that, the it's not the worst idea.
to teleport back to the Deepar fortress as Mollog created a teleporting device for Vata much earlier. Zion thought
Yeah, the same devices that come from Moloch book. So yeah, they're going to use their Dark Fortress as the meeting spot, but only to find out that only Zion Format made it because they like teleport, being like, wait, hang on, what's Moloch? And then they, oh yeah, I think they do try the communication spell, and for that not to be the case. And what about there's Moloch as well? No, hang on. So Ekron comes back, but how does he know that the others are gone unless they all try the communication with them too? Yeah, what was that? I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see. Um, and um,
and Vata teleport, but the president manages to shoot Mollog
okay, at least that's clarified. Yeah, a bit late explanation wise, but it's okay.
before he can teleport, killing
Oh yeah, because I think I've got it. So the reason why Moloch didn't create another ship out of space, as like a weird plot hole, it was because they already had devices. So they're gonna all arrive to the Titan planet on the ship unless they've used the teleporting devices to completely abandon ship. Which fair enough, but yeah, the time for that we would be left with the teleported devices. So if that wasn't said earlier, then fine, but it's definitely can be inferred, to set up a rule where they can teleport once, and if they want to teleport again, they can go back to the fortress.
Mollog as a result. Even the book loses all its power now Mollog is dead.
Just makes you wonder whereabouts the shot whereabouts he got shot, because I thought he got the book, but I'm not sure.
With no more fighting, Diane, the servicemen, and the Titanrans are either properly
Which is consistent with, Ozona going and Torrid going and Macador going.
beaten or even dead. There are no spaceships too, meaning they cannot go out to space and help either team of
But yeah, that's just I feel like this is the midpoint of the story, and yeah, this does feel like the most significant turn, for Zone to gain, well, at least just like another element. Yeah, Emotus gained during the midpoint, and Vibra is just during the middle of the climax. So yeah, I quite like how all of that is structured, and yeah, like I said, yeah, it just feel like the midpoint. It's a bit of a shame that Zam and Nicole, I guess they already had their high point with Retron, sort of, because I was because it's like them finally getting free from Earth almost, but I don't know, like for them to probably not even show up in the midpoint. You could say, oh, maybe the cameos are like their own at a midpoint, but even then.
the Legion. There is one option though. Retron still has some stars at the base despite space traveling become
Um, hopefully no spaceships on Earth whatsoever. I can kind of see that being the case. Imagine if the flooding did that unless they banned space travel. I don't know. Either way would have to be assumed. And not to mention, actually, no, I think it takes such a long time to build a ship at a point where, it's not even worth going up. Because that reminds me, time, how long does it take to build an airplane? Commercial airliner can take 83 days, and yeah, all of this is happening within like a couple of days, and but yeah, so yeah, it's just no point, yeah, because there's no vehicle generator like Zami.
becoming an aspect of the Earth which has discontinued. If a star is found, that means only Diane can leave the Earth to help the others.
Oh, okay, so I think I think we consider that plot hole plugged. I think. Anyway, so a star is mentioned, and so until a star gets found, so yeah, the living gore fight happens in the meantime, and I think Sammy and Nicole with the camos, that might happen in the meantime, unless that's during after, well, it's still a small segment. Then the Hermota fight, everyone meets up at Vibra, and then Dion then comes after the battle begins. So yeah, I'm just using my fingers to demonstrate myself. So it's taken, I don't know, like nearly like less than half a day, which is still a long time by the way, like more than 4 hours to find another star. Like I don't know, the base isn't in rubble because Zami and Nicole went to the base, unless it was done some repair, but I don't know. Yeah, how did they find a star? Because it would all be by the base and that. So I don't understand why that's taken so long. Even if Zami and Nicole with the camo stuff was also like during the meantime of all of this, we're still talking about another battle happening and a meet up or gathering. It's just yeah, really um, yeah, yeah. I think that's one of the story's biggest problems.
And so, while those around provide some reverence for Retron, his body is moved to
Um, yeah, absolutely, and yeah, it's really good to stick to these rules. Because I think the newest rule, I don't know, I feel like everything is like been set up, etc.
his office, and a search party involving the serviceman for a star occurs despite how messy the base is.
Um, I don't think Carpo will be. I think he will at least be somewhat respectful because he saved the leader after all. But Retron was why the part of the reason some of the Titrons being dead. So I feel like the president would have to say some careful words to make Carpo then say, um, okay, if he used to be a hero, then fine, I'd give him some respect, but I probably won't forgive him for what he did before. So yeah, something like that would have been good to write first.
However, Diane senses a loss that could be seen as worse than the battle Diane just endured.
I don't think I felt like it wasn't that messy. Um, uh, no, it should be in a like somewhat. Oh, I don't know. Like, how badly damaged did the base get wrecked? Not to mention, how post-apocalyptic is it? Are we talking about nobody being able to help with the buildings, not even the base? That's unfortunately unclear. Sorry. Uh, oh, okay. So I don't know about the living or thing. I think that's slightly mentioned in the air. So okay, so was it said that so just simply an update about Livinger, unless I don't know. It's just because when they meet up in the fortress, it was nearly simultaneously, wasn't it? So um, 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 let's see. Okay, that's um, that's in the air. Um, well, yeah, just because with the update, it could either mean whether the loss, if they're living on, they couldn't get going, or they managed to get hold of it. Although even what Dion just said, although I guess what the sentence still ruins the following chapter because it then cuts to the Liverpool battle, but it could have meant Zami and Nicole suffering a loss as well. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I feel like there was an attempt to be a bit more subtle and be like, oh, what could that mean? But unfortunately, it's yeah, I think I consider it still somewhat spoiled. Let's go on to the next page, shall we? Oh, okay. So if it's going on to this chapter, then it could create the sense of, oh, no, Zemi and Nicole could lose or something. But then after seeing this chapter, they could be like, oh, does that mean they live gun battle then? So it's tried to create like a bit of a puzzle, but um, um, yeah, for like the audience to work out. But um, I'm not. Yeah, I don't think that was executed very well. But anyway, so I think just to go over what the chapter of this was like. So yeah, the Legion just exploring space, and then the Camus managed to ambush them from the whole planet. With some of the Camo ships, whatever they look like, and he's sending the Autumn, down to the planet. Then they, drag their planets into the ground, and the Camos try and confront them as like a revenge thing. But it's Fetcher of all people, he managed to be like, um, oh, you don't hurt us, we'll do this, this, and this, and by appealing to them, it's made everything easier, and that's where Fetcher criticises them too, which is pretty much like the point of this scene. They do apologise later on, it just makes you wonder if it feels too soon to be apologised, but I think it just goes back to how, I don't know, like their storyline isn't very well structured, because this just feels like a subplot with the others getting the far more substantive and more progressive story lines. um, so yeah, well, with that being said, also I kind of like the image below. It's almost like an exact copy of the storybook page, yeah, with the colours in there. It's kind of neat somewhat. But anyway, let's just see what this chapter is like overall.
Tilda chapter 73, The Trio and the Camos. In the
If you're wondering, it's like 82 or 83 chapters, and whilst the finale is another big one, at least we haven't got far left now, because I'm getting just as worn out as you are.
Awesome Atone, the Legion starts making its way to Fretcher's planet. As they fly through space,
Yep, so that's their destination.
Zami and Nicole show that they are eager for an audience and a sense of purpose for themselves, which Fretcher
Is that what they've been talking about? Okay. Yeah, because if they don't know what's going to happen, they're just like really hoping their own goals are achieved. But it just goes back to how they seem to be a bit focused on themselves and not more like, oh, we'll hope that the universe is okay in the end.
finds to be unsure. Fretcher, who can connect
And yeah, I can see how Fletcher could be like,
his mind with past ancestors, used to always prioritize the well-being of the public before their intentions, making
That makes Fletcher's race heroic. At one point, they probably went around the universe to do a couple of bits and bobs. Yeah, if that's the case, then yeah. I just wonder like how many heroic races there have been.
them another good set of guardians throughout the universe alongside the Titanrans and many more. Fretcher
Who were the others? Like the Sochers, the Gradities, unless the Gradities were encouraged to come along by, I don't know.
even asks about saving the public. And all that Zami and Nicole respond with is that they do try and help the public, but they are often prioritizing other things such as fighting the main foe.
This is repetition. They already talked about how they prioritize the bad guys, and it's the others that save them. So fortunately, Alex is it's repetition. Yeah, sorry.
Those who lead armies like Orpheon, Ozona, or Mechajor. Not to mention the servicemen used to help the public more so, and the public has been mostly neglecting the Legion's help.
All of this is being repeated as well, almost. But yeah, and I guess it's not an interesting thing where the public do seem to admire the Legion despite not really being saved by the Legion specifically. So, yeah, and but yeah, looks like Vetcher is probably not keen. So yeah, a bit unfortunate this is wasted paragraphs.
Despite occasional cases of the public liking the Legion, this Fretcher still finds inexcusable. And so the journey goes on throughout a galaxy which you can tell has been through two apocalyptic events at once. While the whole of
how and why?
Space seemed peaceful at first, a collection of ships appears quickly from a nearby planet, a collection of ships from the Camos. These spaceships,
and thankfully they've been somewhat set up, which is rather good.
That the Camos ride on are alike Hummer cars but with fins on the side and top, with vegetation frosted by
okay, so that's what the ships look like. Okay, that's good to know.
Space, a greenish-white color overall. This shocks those in the Awesome Atone, and once the Camos start firing, Zami pilots to avoid all the fire. They zoom around
yeah, normal reaction.
Space first, only for the Camos ships to appear from all angles, encouraging the Awesome Atone to go down to the Camos planet, from how the ships are positioned.
Oh yeah. Well, I think it could be a bit unwise for um, to like fly towards their turf to, not only save yourself, but that means that I think the camos would like hold fire because they don't want to fire on their own planet. But for the Legion to take advantage of that, it's a bit mean. But at the same time, it's yeah, I'm a bit mixed on that. I feel like the Legion should. I don't know. Oh, I don't know if either all angles and they need to survive somehow. But I don't know. Zami can keep repairing the ship, so just keep flying forward and stun their ship, seeing her lightly, and going to light speed. Wait, hang on. I thought they would be on light speed, weren't they already? Because we're talking about a long journey here. Oh, gosh, no. Oh no, this scene doesn't work. This is already like kind of a lower, like a rather useless scene, but.
Nicole thinks they are being led into a trap. Nicole and Fletcher.
Um. Oh, okay. So yeah, the camos position themselves intentionally to take them down that direction. So if the traps were yet to come, then they're hoping to be prepared, but fortunately not.
Are on the awesome Aton's turrets. Only shooting very light lightning to stun the ship's weapons, but now they alongside Zami himself are having to shoot at the camos that have their turrets. The world is quite exhausted.
Yeah, to stun, yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, but yeah, stunning it's just.
A world where it has a lot of cliffs and water.
And yeah, despite the trap nearly coming about, yeah, you get a brief description of the planet. So yeah, it's nice to imagine what the things look like in that. And I'm gonna lie, I feel the image below does kind of give me some kind of idea what the story looks like. But even if the scenes don't make it to the planet yet, I can still see it clearly. So I reckon the story gets kind of points for that.
Waterfalls, yellowish green grass and a lot of tree houses. Even the race wear shirts and trousers which use lead-like materials, bearing pale green skin, big eyes, and have
Does it mean lead-like materials? I'm not sure.
small plants growing from them, with most of them possessing long rifles.
I think they wear the vegetation instead of the vegetation coming out of them, but if that's the case, then fair enough. I reckon the plant growing must be quite slow because the Titrons are meant to be the more plant fiend race, and I know you could say
Tilda
why not
Chapter
have other races
73,
to be
the trio and
plant
the
fiends
camos.
too, but
In the awesome Atone, the Legion starts making its way to Fletcher's
but I don't
planet.
know. It's just
As they fly through
yeah,
space,
because
Zami and Nicole show
just
that
going
they
to
are
an
eager
example,
for an
like whilst
audience and a
it
sense
is
of
like
purpose for
interesting for
themselves, which
Pokemon
Fletcher
to
finds to be unsure.
have a lot of
Fletcher, who
for
can
instance,
connect
the
his
plant
mind
type
with
ones, a
past
lot of them do have
ancestors,
like
used to
similar
always
abilities, but
prioritize
I
the
think I
well-being
reckon
of
they
the
do
public before their
stand out
intentions,
in other ways.
making them
But I
another good
think
set of guardians throughout
when
the
it comes to
universe
me,
alongside the
for instance, if I
Titanrans
was
and
told to
many
create
more.
another race
Fletcher even asks
that
about
control
saving the public.
vegetation,
And
I
all
would just
that
be
Zami
like,
and
well,
Nicole respond
Tytrons
with
can
is
do
that
that
they
though.
do try
Why
and
not
help the
bury
public,
them
but they are
instead
often
of
prioritizing other
creating
things
another
such
race
as fighting
entirely?
the
Like I
main
think maybe I
foes who
could have
lead
it so
armies
that the
like
Tytrons are
Orpheon,
more line
Ozona, or
specific
Mechajor.
and
Not to
other
mention the
ones can
servicemen
create
used to help the
control
public
leaves or
more
wood,
so, and the
something
public has
like
been
that.
mostly neglecting the
But from the
Legion's help
reboot,
despite
it's
occasional
still going to be the
cases of the
case that the
public liking
Tytrons
the Legion.
only
This
control,
Fletcher still
any type of
finds
vegetation.
inexcusable. And so the journey goes on throughout a galaxy which you
So
can
yeah,
tell
which
has
is
been
just
through
type
two
with the
apocalyptic
element
events at
stuff
once.
and how each
While the
race
whole of
is
space seemed
representative of
peaceful at
the
first, a
specific
collection of
abilities, which
ships
is
appears
about
quickly
20
from a nearby
overall.
planet, a collection of ships from the camos. These spaceships that the camos ride on are alike Hummer cars but with
Yeah, good mixture. I like that.
fins on the side and top, with vegetation frosted by space, a greenish-white color overall. This shocks those in the awesome Atone, and once the camos start...
That must be some strong netting. Not to mention that the Cameos do use nets in one of the comics, so I just feel like that's quite a coincidence. But at the same time, if they are partially like a hunting type of race, then yeah, it's a pretty cool idea to um, yeah, I just feel like that's a good coincidence. Yeah. Also, what Sammy's Keep's going to help with.
Firing, Zami pilots to avoid all the fire. They zoom around space first, only for the camos ships to
Yeah, so it's no problem whenever they leave.
appear from all angles, encouraging the awesome Atone to go down to the camos planet, from how the ships are positioned.
Okay, So maybe they are still getting fired at, but they got the protection up regardless, which is handy.
Nicole thinks they are being led into a trap. Nicole and Fletcher are on the awesome Atone's turret,
How handy. Okay.
only shooting very light lightning to stun the ship's weapons, but now they alongside Zami himself are having to shoot at the camos that have their turrets. The world is quite exotic, a world where
Oh, okay. That sounds like quite a massive feat or jump to go for, but yeah. So Nicole is going for the more offensive route, but Fletcher uses words.
it has a lot of cliffs and waterfalls, yellowish green grass and a lot of tree houses. Even the race wear shirts and trousers with
Yeah, and I feel like they will really get to the Balls of Tone as well. Not to mention there was an opportunity to. I mean, there must be like one small scene where the Legion quickly get out of the Atone unless they got pulled out, and um, so yeah, they've got defenses up, and Zami's about to go for this like I said, a wave of electricity, which I don't know how, but that sounds quite handy. When well um yeah, just remember thinking, when else could he have used this? I think there's other cases. So having this quite big ability, it probably could break some battles.
choose lead-like materials, bearing pale green skin, big eyes, and have small plants growing from them. With most of them possessing long rifles,
Oh, wait, hang on. Did the Legion manage to then release the lightning? Okay, so yeah, then yeah, it's good to apply enough of a stun to slow the ships down, but still great safe landing. So it's good to acknowledge these bits and bobs both from me and the characters. As for so does Fletcher say this after the lightning thing? Was the lightning thing even performed?
this is a race with occasional technology despite being a mostly natural world. With no getting out of the planet, the camos even start to fire netting at the ship to bring it down, and the awesome Atone
So I feel like motivation could have been stated or explained before the ending of the fight, but at least that does. Well, we got a small hint to them earlier, but now it's more detailed here. And once Fletcher provides an answer or a solution, so that's where um, yeah, it's just like enough to characterize them. Yeah, it's yeah, this scene, despite what it does for the trio here, it's still quite little.
eventually gets caught and then dragged into the ground. The awesome Atone
I wonder what kind of trade though, and also yeah, rough life once again. Just I guess it's just showing us a right another type of race that's affected. Although what makes them stand out is that they were trying to hunt the Legion, and therefore they had a chance. They might have known what the Atone looks like. They could have been spread around, and especially if they do have a satellite from Dion too.
despite being able to be repaired thanks to Zami's cube abilities. The camos start to surround the Legion. Zami tries to form barriers around them, massive
Sounds a bit simplistic, but you know, I think it's like um, almost like the right thing to say still.
cubes to avoid the fire, with Nicole having her shield up, alongside Fletcher using an arrow to form a force field around him.
Oh yeah, so that's yeah, they're adding more to um, yeah, just for Vector emphasizing that it's about the people despite getting the design for.
Once the camos fully surround the Legion with their type of guns on their person, alongside the ships coming about, Zami is then tasked by Nicole
I thought these camos were quite like relentless, so to hear advice like that, I'm a bit puzzled, but okay. I guess it just goes to show that yeah, maybe there should have been more characterized. Oh hell, why not even join the Legion to come along, and in that way they could have like maybe some decide to come, but sadly they all go because of how tricky Zanthor Thatcher is, which could have added like a sense of guilt for the Legion. But I think overall it's still the Legion um, Um, Hang on, sorry. But yeah, the Legion just on their own regardless, hence why, no servicemen, no Retron, no camos. Yeah, they just really run out of choices. Yeah, even this shows that even other, yeah, not even other alien races will come to help, outside the Legion. Yeah, I know there's the Titrans, but they almost felt like a grouply part of it.
To charge up a wave of light lightning, thanks to being defended. Zami then releases the light lightning, knocking over the camos without.
It's more like Fletcher facilitating that conversation. I could see that being the case. Because hopefully they shouldn't argue against Fletcher because he just stopped the camos from firing at them.
Knocking them out, easy to get up afterwards. Even starting to stun the ships light enough for the camos to land safely and having enough time to.
So this is pretty much climaxing what Fletcher thinks of them. So it's just like one of those scenes of, don't you realise what you've done? Only to they apologise to one another. Sorry.
Think, this out-of-nowhere attack has now ended. After a clash, Fletcher eventually gets his way. The camos were after them and using force as revenge for the many misdoings the Legion.
It's getting a bit of a lengthy sentence, but yeah, I think this is what I've kind of explained it beforehand. It's a cool idea, somewhat.
Had done alongside many other planets that have suffered. This affected the likes of.
Yeah, it's like an awareness thing, which they do. I think it's like a thought that does come to them, and then it comes to them deeply. Once becomes later part of the battle, and I'm not sure how everyone proves that they defeated Sign 4, but I suppose with no Dion anywhere. But I don't know. I feel like they should have recorded it or something, and then in that way, yeah, they would have been proven. But it turns out everyone is totally fine with his Sign 4 gone. Yeah, they're all forgiven. But yeah, I still would have liked the version where the Legion are like relegated on their own, just being like universal protectors all over. They only just have each other. Well, we'll still have the President of Cabo, of course, but yeah, they'll just have to be yeah, they would have to be just relegated to certain spots.
Trade, and made the camos live a rough life where their resources may all go.
Verbal kick. Not the it's it's a weird term I came up with, but I strangely like it. Verbal kick. Yeah, it's like a way of hitting someone with words, almost. Yeah. Wow.
But the Legion reassures them that Xyanthor will be taken down. It will make the.
Oh, that's a very rash comparison to make. I know Retron provides to finalise his goals, but even then. But yeah, at least that's what Fletcher sees. But I don't know. He could have compared them to Sign 4 as well, or at least say, you could end up like either of them if you're not careful. But yeah, I think that's what it's better to say, not, oh, you seem like them.
Legion trusted again and the universe will be safer. Then Fletcher states more comforting words like how they and others will be considered and protected. Their lives will be prioritized alongside other races.
Yeah, and I definitely said this in the storybook commentary, which I remember. Because I remember trying to make sure that Fletcher, seemed cool, and so when he criticised the Legion, it's done in a way that's kind of reasonable, but but yeah, I'm not. But yeah, I think having a character that's already having a lot of wisdom only for then to get criticised. Yeah, it's just something that's not like the best. I'm not as keen on the concept anymore, really.
Across the cosmos, and this is what gets the camos to calm down and let the Legion go free, putting aside this threat which isn't
I guess that does add more to his motivation, but still.
Tied with Xyanthor. But as the awesomer tone is going
oh, okay, that's extremely rash. Why did I write it that way?
Up into the air, both Zami and Nicole argue with Fletcher. Fletcher starts to see that the Legion is driven by its own goals.
Um, yeah, okay, well, that's some tension, I suppose. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just this would have been far better if Fletcher's race, the RX had like more presence, or even Fletcher in himself, actually. I think Fletcher was like a rogue hero of some kind, and um, yeah, I feel like that would have, yeah, just show some kind of presence that he was doing his own need and stuff. He was a bit like an Ovidion, but more under the radar. Yeah, something like that could have been more beneficial. Anyway, not gonna lie, that was a kind of a boring chapter. Let's see what's next. Okay, so I think before getting on to this chapter, whether spoiled or not, so the image above. So yeah, you can see on the top left, yeah, going for like a U shape almost. Yeah, Fretcham. No, it's Pewolf and Ravikon against one another. Pod defeats the bee down there. It looks like he's in flames. And yeah, Estrogen, oh, he's getting an upcut from a Titan. You can see him there. And then Apasnos and Necron are, Zekron dodging one of Apasnos' blades as they fight against one another as well. Yeah, quite like the shot setting wise, but it's a bit. I don't know, I quite like actually. It feels it has like a very jungle look.
Tilda chapter 74, Living for Livingar. Minutes before Livingar was taken, it started as Pod.
Oh no, now the start of the chapter was like, hey, we lost it, but here's what happened anyway. Yeah, gosh, yeah, we've already gone over how that doesn't work.
Hailwolf, Opusnost, and Vondur, plus the other Titanrans around at the time. Ones that are up for.
Oh yeah, there would have been a full stop after time, so thankfully speech bot has it, but not the text itself very well. So, uh, okay, so it's essentially preparing themselves, even like keeping the residential ones away.
Fighting while the rest had to be placed in a safe area, including younger Titanrans. The defenses were set, including both vegetation as well as pod maintaining and generating.
Wow, pods helping with the defenses, that's good.
Ice and water to add to the defenses. Hailwolf and Opusnost.
I think just a quick thing, like I know that there was a whole heap of things that needed fixing, if not rewriting, if sticking to the story, but despite that, you can definitely see that there were a good few attempts of making sure there was a through line, which is definitely better. Um, um, yeah, it just makes you wonder if this is like better than some Hollywood movies nowadays. Um, it's possible, but at the same time, a lot of things are quite messy, and maybe there were cases where the characters aren't characterized enough. Because other than a couple of situations, I do struggle to like connect to these versions of these characters. Yeah, because I'm really not sure. I reckon. Yeah, I think in the animations, yeah, once again, although maybe the animations will be more cool than sentimental, but I don't know. I think he struggles to have a case where like kind of care about them because think of like the video games you play. Some video game characters don't get characterized at all, but because they're so iconic and what they can do. So yeah, that's where they can still become icons. Even without an emotional touch.
Are nearby Pod, and Vondur plus the rest of the Titanrans circle the whole area. They wait.
So we've got a somewhat decent position. Okay, yeah, have so the trio of Legion members and the rest of the Titanrans, and the Titanrans are, circling around and they throw them at the forefront. Okay.
And wonder about Diane's contact. And Diane sends.
Oh yeah, definitely does have time to contact. Not to mention he might be damaged at a point where they might struggle with contact, but you never know. The Dion might come into contact or something, but I guess we'll wait to see.
A text stating that they are currently fighting both Xyanthor and his father Vatar
Okay, there's an update. That's okay then.
down on Earth. But Vatar at one point was seen contacting other allies, making the Livingar
Stated currently fighting both sides from Vatar down to Earth. Yeah, Vatar at one point. Vatar was seen contacting other allies. So he sends text stating his father. Then but that at one point we're seeing content of her allies. Who? Okay.
Defense-wise if other nasty fighters were coming, and they are right. Ikran.
Um. Oh, I see. So basically, whatever Bata was communicating to the goons is definitely confirmed today on that wall. If no other allies are there, and they contacted someone about other beings are coming, and yeah, because I think the Legion could have been like, oh, I reckon these goons didn't make it after Torrid or Mechajaw, so that's like possible. But they could have gained new alliances, but no, it turns out to be this familiar faces.
Asteroidon, Ravicon, and B have arrived on the Titanran planet.
Let's just go back to bit. Okay, yeah, I got it.
It's wise if other nasty fighters were coming, and they are right. Ikran, Asteroidon, Ravicon, and B have arrived on the Titanran planet. Ikran, who is a temporary lead, tells all the good guys to stand down.
He's kind of mentioned first, and he has like the most use and screen time, so I can see why he's the leader. He came to his own on his own at one point, after all.
But of course, no one is giving in. And so the fight.
Oh, okay, so it's like a chance for them to stand down. Yeah, while they are facing a whole army after all. But wow, okay, that's yeah, that's something. Yeah, for the Titans to be a bit pacifistic at first. Okay.
Begins the vegetation. Plus, Pod's powers act as the primary long-range attack. But he.
Okay. Yeah, I can see pod having projectiles where it's fire or shards of ice. Okay. There was something else, wasn't there? But of course, no one's giving in, so they fight. Vegetate. Yeah, okay, so it's just defenses first.
Down, but of course, no one is giving in. And so the fight begins, the vegetation. Plus, Pod's powers act as the primary long-range attack. But Ikran and the others divide to avoid the plants and pod abilities and then manage to fight against the Titanrans.
So if it's like going all around the defenses, although I thought the Titans would have like circled the area, but it's either that or the goons have all like split up at a point where it's hard to aim for a different particular one, something like that. Well, they must be rather skilled. And okay, so yeah, the defenses are already not working too well, despite seeming impressive at first. Everyone offers to fight to avoid plants and possibilities. They managed to fight. Okay, so well, they're up close already.
Despite the effort from the Titanrans, the goons make a good start, also able to knock away or dodge the Titanrans' controlled vegetation despite how much there is of it.
But yeah, that does sound impressive. I feel like it won't be possible for some of them, but okay.
Ikran and Ravicon are the quicker ones, as well as using their abilities to slice the vines away while be not.
So yeah, that's indicating that they're like the ones with the sharp abilities, to slice the vegetation. But yeah, B is pretty much like the shooter, and then yeah, Estrogen is more the whacker. So it's just seeing how all of them, get rid of the uh, let's see, yeah, just like their individual ways of countering the vegetation, and so yeah, it's something about that yeah, I'm a bit unsure because yeah, because do we have to know? Well, actually, no. Like you have to read, an individual reason for how they overcome the vegetation. Yeah. So it's just I was just thinking whether this is like detailed enough.
Only tries to shoot at the vines from a distance, but both he and Asteroidon are strong enough to whack the vines away or pull them apart. To add to the defense, Hailwolf and Pod form projectiles like quills and icy balls of fire to make it harder for the goons. Thanks.
Okay, I think I've got an impression that Hellwolf's quills were not from far range, um, um, but maybe um, But yeah, regardless, it must be like a good enough range. But yeah, who knows? I wonder what much that does. And yeah, with pods projectiles, they do sound rather powerful.
To them working better as a team compared to the Legion, not only dodging these projectiles but whacking them away or whacking them back to the Legion, adding to the difficulty. Beforehand,
Yeah, I'm not sure how you can whack cores away, but if the icy balls are solid balls, then yeah, I can see how they would be whacked away. It kind of I bet Pod should have gone for just fire or freezing instead of going for anything solid. Yeah, if it's gonna be bounced back towards you. Yeah, I find that a bit of a questionable strategic approach.
Opusnost and Hailwolf have nerves about fighting, because Opusnost hasn't been in a proper fight in ages. Hailwolf is still nervous about her race, and Pod try and reassure them, even going as far as stating
It should be does try and reassure them, but anyway, yeah, this is definitely showing that their insecurities, they're still there. So it is okay. So it's their own insecurities that bothers this fight. Yeah, I thought they were still in rivals with one another, but okay. Um, and um, but yeah, for Pod to try and help them out, yeah, that's nice.
that those flaws are what will affect their performance. And Pod ends up being
Also, Pod, I guess yeah, reassurance is one thing, but also just to be firm and say, oh, just don't let your nerves get in the way because we need to yeah fight um it's yeah, because yeah, you just don't want any hesitation getting in the way because it will affect your performance.
right. Not to mention Opusnost never let Hailwolf
Oh yeah, even the sentences like these kind of foreshadowed the inevitable as it was clumsily revealed. I'm still not keen on that though. But yeah, to already state that this is already like one reason why the team faltered. Like, are you kidding me?
help him due to Opusnost being eager to keep Hailwolf away from him, adding to the failure of this fight.
Has never let Howell felt injured. Oh no, so they still have a grudge against one another. Okay, so I am mistaken again. Um, okay, so yeah, they've got the rivalry in the way still. Okay, well, it's possible not being great of Hellwolf, but Hellwolf, I guess, Junior tries to do her best.
As well as the vegetation and Pod's powers acting as an outside defense, the entrance of the mountain, consisting of Livingar and
Um, oh, so that's protected too. Okay, that's good.
the progress of the growing races inside containers, was bricked up well. But what was bricked up crumbled no thanks to a blast from BS Blast from his mace, adding to the panic of the fight.
One blast, surely it should be like multiple, and why not bricked up further? They had loads of time. Even Pod could have had like a load of thick ice. Like really thick ice is not easy to budge.
Before Livingar was lost, there were some successful aspects such as the fact that Von
Oh no, it's going for that reminding thing again. Yeah, not
Jor
keen.
manages to take down Astroidon with some help from Opusnost as he uses his temporary invincibility. He also uses blades to get an upper hand, bringing some confidence he could fight someone as strong as Xyanthor. Hailwolf beats a fight
Okay, so I think this is probably the part where it started to round up some things already, especially with yeah, looks like Astroidin is defeated. Yeah, with a few hard hits or something. Yeah, Vonda and Avasnos with the temporary invincibility is um, um, if that is, if it requires a lot of strength. But yeah, we already know Astroidin is already like the big um, one, so it's um, um, but yeah, I can definitely see that's the reason why Avasnos gets his confidence back, to fight like a big being again. Because Torridor may be powerful, but if Sturridge is already big and probably powerful in his own way, then yeah.
against Ravicon, which was an animalistic fight. Both use their teeth and jaw
Okay, here's the. So it's like a lot of it was. Hopefully, all of it is in past tense. I hope so. Um, to get that right at least. And so yeah, no, it's as well as how Ostrigen does beat. It looks like Hellwolf Vic Spain's here too. I'm kind of curious how Hellwolf and the Pasnos, how they're insecure in their own ways whilst not working together. I'm kind of curious how that doesn't work in the end. But regardless, so Hellwolf beats Rabbitcon. Yes, a Haywan is a much bigger creature after all, and yeah, it looks like Hellwolf has a bit more advantage in more movable movements as they fight animalistically, which is kind of listed again, but instead of whole montage approach again.
And while Ravicon did have an upper hand, some help from Pod occurs as Pod kicks
I think I forgot to write that Hellwolf was meant to transform first.
Ravicon off Hailwolf's back. Hailwolf then uses his quills
Oh, it's teamwork. Okay, so Pod helps out. Okay, that's rather good.
to harm Ravicon, and Hailwolf then delivers a
Her quills.
finishing bite, killing Ravicon. Opusnost also wounds
Oh wow, I like that finishing move. That's good.
Ekran despite Opusnost losing the fight. Last time, Opusnost was scaring Ekran, and now
It's weird because the battle was spoken about as if it was happening in real time, but only for all of it to be kind of thrown away in like some kind of flashback that happened earlier. And but anyway, so Ekron managed to get some upper hand against Ekron at one point, which is good. Although it looks like his him being nervous is what um, yeah, it's probably made him lose to Ekron, which is a real shame because Apasnos earlier won against Ekron earlier when Apasnos was at peak into his fighting.
it was vice versa. Torrid's betrayal did put off Opusnost from acting all scary.
Well, but to still to go for a different parallel, yeah, it's yeah, it does help make this like a different fight.
Again, and Ekran holds his own as he uses his cape for
Oh yeah, so that's definitely one reason why Plasnos has kind of lost its mojo. Which is a very good reason considering everything. And Ekron holds his own, uses cape for defense and distraction. Yeah, I can see how their clothing will be useful.
defenses and distractions. Also countering Opus.
Although I know Plasnos has had a like a change of behaviour, but I wondered what made Ekron. I don't know, like did he get more training, or is it just like being more familiar with Plasnos, or is it taking advantage of Plasnos? I can see either happening. But yeah, it would have been nice to get some kind of reason.
Nost's astral clones, Opusnost ends up defeated as Ekran's cloak is thrown onto Opusnost and shrouding him when it was initially 2 blades against a spear. Ekran does later die as he tries to tell.
Oh, okay. I wondered if what would have been a good setup is for Ekron to be like, oh, I probably will sacrifice my cloak if it means winning, or or like a trick, to still keep the like the cloak active. But what's also interesting is that Ekron kind of cheated. He took the cloak onto Plasnos, and even if Ekron's winning, it's like a bad cheat. And but yeah, it looks like Plasnos tried other powers. Well, he's missing the the temporary invincibility, but okay. But yeah, the astral projections. I can see that being useful. But yeah, I reckon Ekron defends himself rather well. And so yeah, okay. And not to mention, I already remember how Ekron happened because whilst I don't know about the rest of the fight, but Pod chases after Ekron, and despite Pod being as quick as possible, using Ice to his advantage and trying to slow down Ekron, but Ekron still made it to the elements despite I think getting like a nasty blow from Pod, so he still lost his life, but he still made it with Limbinger to then give design for. Yeah, because I remember that all being quick, and that was a reason why Necron made it this way because when villains win, you don't want to make the heroes seem stupid. It's like in here, you can just see that everyone is like its flaws like some character flaws getting away occasionally.
Teleport to Xionthor and Vata back at the Deepar fortress later, and so Livingar is now in the possession of Xionthor.
Oh no, this is just like Pinton. Oh no, I'm really oh, I really don't like this method of writing. At least it could explain that Necron like does come up to the fortress, but he does go once he delivers it. Yeah, because they must have like a couple of words that with Necron be like, "Oh, I'm dying, but I made it. Here's the element," stuff like that. Anyway, so we've had to back to Deep Fortress and living cross and possessions over, and this fight up close started to come about once the goons all passed the defences. Okay, do they pass the defences? I guess it's yeah, this must have been very quick, and I suppose if the Allies aren't Vol's best goons that made it all this way, then yeah, there must be a trick in some way. But I feel like they should be quite powerful too to do that.
Xionthor and Vata. This fight up close started to come about once the goons passed all the defenses, requiring all the good guys to fight the goons up close. To add to the problems, Pod sees that Vondur, who is the lead of the Titanran fight, is not using his powers, only his brute strength as he prefers.
Okay, so I guess that's another flaw, yeah, because if he's more comfortable with Fist, fair enough. And but yeah, and yeah, the when Fondor does use his vegetation, it does give him and the others a bit more advantage. So I think this is where Pod and Vondor do have a bit of um, a um, um, let's see, yeah, I think that starts like some kind of a conflict between yeah, Pod and Vondor. Yeah, about abilities. Yeah, it's not a bad idea, especially if the fist is what helped made it work for um, Vondor, from the other times, and yeah, so grind all the good guys. See, with defenses not working, yeah, it's not close kind of fighting, and well, Vondor managed to beat Asteroidans, so that's a positive at least. But yeah, without like the use of vegetation that compared to Carpal that manages to stand well against Ironfall. Yeah.
Tries and encourages Vondur to use more of his abilities. They were needed as some Titanrans get hurt during Tilda chapter 74, Living for Livingar.
So
Minutes before Livingar was
yeah,
taken,
Brian, all
it started
the
as
good
Pod,
guys do fight up
Hailwolf,
close to add to problem, plus
Opusnost,
the
and
other
Vondur,
and ability
plus the other
powers.
Titanrans
Maybe
around at the
strength,
time.
others do
Ones
courage.
that are up for fighting while the rest had to be placed in a safe area, including younger
Oh yeah, so yeah, Vondor definitely needed to step up. Because just to help protect the other Titanrans. Yeah, just about the all getting hurt. Yeah, it could be like more of a moment where Vondor is like, oh gosh, where all the Titanrans are going. I could do with being more familiar of the like more familiar with my powers to defend the other Titanrans. Yeah, it could be more of a reason why he's more of a fist and vegetation.
Titanrans. The defenses were set, including
Um, oh yeah, so yeah, just moving the injured ones aside. Yeah, because yeah, even if they're injured, yeah, you don't want them to get any more in any more harm. So um, so yeah, sensible thing to do.
both vegetation as well as Pod maintaining and generating ice and water to add to the defenses. Hailwolf and Opus
um, but still not using vegetation. Um, yeah, getting lower. Um, yeah, like I said, there should be more reasons why Vandal wasn't going for the vegetation.
Nost are nearby Pod, and Vondur plus the rest of the Titanrans circle the whole.
His and Pod's arguing? Him and Pod arguing? No, him and Pod arguing. Yeah, that would have made it far better. And um, and let's see. So them two arguing distract them from the fight. Fair enough. What's interesting is that they do eventually work together. So I'm kind of curious on how they resolve their differences, only to then be like almost like a good duo against Xynthor later on. So yeah, we're going to be quite interested in that. And so yeah, because what's good is that whilst what they think of each other's races is put aside, they're still arguing about their combating situations at this very moment, which is it's like almost like a rightful thing to them to have an argument about, but as they come to realise, all of this argument leads to this partially led to the failure. So yeah, but yeah, the argument must be very intense.
Area. They wait and wonder about Diane's contact. And Diane sends a text.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what lessons did Pod go through that Vondor didn't? That made, I don't know. It's just Vondor to be someone who likes more fist and powers. It's I don't know. I can't really make a comparison. He's unique, that's for sure, but I don't know. It's just what got Pod into being able to be the kind of character to kindly encourage using of like kindly encourage others to use their powers. I feel like it's missing the setup.
Stating that they are currently fighting both Xynthor and his father Vatar down on Earth. But Vatar.
Yeah, which I guess has been that's been true a couple of times. So yeah, eventually realizes during his last battle that Pod was right. Yeah. For Pod's come through the most after all. He's probably older than Vondor, I can imagine that. And yeah, wide range abilities, yeah, of course. And instead of choosing few, as Ekron was making. So as Ekron was making his way to Livingor, okay, so Ekron managed to sneak past because of the arguing. Yeah, a reasonable argument, sort of.
At one point was seen contact.
Because it just makes you wonder, like, they could still keep an eye on things as they argue, but you never know, they could look at each other too many times as they're battling, these goons or trying to look out for them and so forth. But not to mention Ekron is a sneaky fella, if he can do a load of successful spy runs, then I can see why he might have passed by here. So it's like some established skills.
Acting other allies, making the Livingar defense wise if other nasty fighters were coming, and they are right. Ekron, Asteroid,
Oh.
Ravicon, and B have arrived.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, because was it? Yeah, I wonder Ekron know if that was like the Anorak especially, was it like a footprint or something that made him figure out what race came about first? And yeah, for Ekron to know what that race is, that's actually quite interesting. Because did he quickly say that design for something as well? Well, hopefully that's the only reason. Oh, I tell you what, I think Ekron must have said something, because this is what gets the other two to be like, hang on, they'll probably go in there, knowing the Arawaks, knowing their telekinetic ancestral history, which sounds really daft looking back. And yes, that's why they go for that planet as the next stop, which definitely saves time. But yeah, Ekron must be quite quick or something. And yeah, I'm quite surprised that Ekron did it. Well, he's not that supernatural, so yeah, of course he wouldn't have, because he would have needed or wanted to prioritize fund the element itself. So yeah, because all of that things with the other races would have been um, 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 yeah, would have been um, so yeah, sorry, I was having a deep think. Yeah, so overall, yeah, all of this would have been um, yeah, like all of the things involving the resurrection thing would have been left with or left to um, yes, design for yeah. As no wonder if you only focus on the element to not do anything else. Well, like with the races about, it's just um, um, so yeah, anyway, sorry if that's a bit too long. Let's get going.
On the Titanran planet. Ikran, who is a temporary lead, tells all the good guys to stand down, but of course, no one is giving in. And so the
Oh, they did that as well. I suppose that's useful and keeps track of things. Um, so um, um, so yeah, and yeah, I wonder how it's labelled though. Is it like the Titran's own language, or is it specifically labelled? And uh, yeah, recognize it dangerous, and yeah, okay.
fight begins, the vegetation. Plus,
Oh, okay. Oh well, Vecron's multilingual. Okay. But I don't think the Titans really. Is it like the writings in the language, in their language? But I feel like if a racist is spoken English, because you could have had it so that um, the collabors could help translate to one another, but not as not labeled in the book. But I feel like I would have to come up with a reason why everyone can speak English because every other sci-fi race helps. Well, like some provided reasons why they all speak English. Look at that too. The TARDIS itself helps with that.
Pod's powers act as the primary long-range attack.
Oh, okay, it's just said right there. Okay, well, some useful skills before he dies.
But Ikran and the others divide to avoid the plants and pod abilities, and then
Oh, he must have either stalled or said that like rather quickly. Like seen all of that rather quickly as he was making his way or walking around. It's still useful for um, 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 so yeah. I reckon Retcon was still moving as he did the spell.
managed to fight against the Titanrans. Despite the effort from the Titanrans, the goons make a good
Yes, definitely good to communicate.
start, also able to knock away or dodge the Titanrans' controlled vegetation despite how much there is of it. Ikran and Ravikon are the quicker ones as well as
Um, okay, so they would have been told about the Nahash 2 stuff and uh, oh yeah, and plus yeah, with within our arc already made for the Legion with the Legion and the Titrans working together. Yeah, of course. Yeah, because I don't think any of the definitely none of the goons and Zanfor didn't know about the Legion getting involved with the Titrans, but they can still infer that some kind of um some they still work together, which could be end really badly for them.
using their abilities to slice the vines away while B not only tries to shoot at the vines from a distance.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Gosh, yeah. That would have. Oh, hang on. When did? Oh, I bet Zarnfor and Vatter are still. Oh, hang on. So let's see. So Zarnfor and Vatter. No, that when they communicated at one point, that was another random case much earlier on. But when Zarnfor and Vatter were later updated, this must have been the update, during the Earth battle or the battle on Earth. Okay, so yeah, that must be it. And so that's what encourages them to start leaving, especially fully confirmed by Moloch too. Um, so yeah, and um, yeah, sorry, yeah, I just literally found out that puzzle. Cool.
But both he
And not to mention, yeah, the Legion are still on the way, even if they haven't made it there. But their idea is still clear.
and Astroidon are strong enough to whack the vines away or pull them.
Yeah, I can see that being the case. Oh yeah, it even says yeah, the powers in that. But yeah, as yeah, I can yeah, Pasnos and Wolf, I can imagine are fast in their own ways. But yeah, we're podding the ice to slide about. Yeah, it's yeah, I can see that being quicker. Yeah, and not to mention, yeah, there's so many different types of well, not just ice, but fire users, water users, etc. With Pod being a mixture, it's like made up of all sorts. Yeah, if you're going for ice, for instance, Sub-Zero mixes ice with combat, Frozone creates a lot of icy slides, and there's well, yeah, Mr. Freeze. I guess you could say for Batman, that's just a freezing a weapon he has. Yeah, that's to freeze objects. So yeah, okay. Let's yeah, well, yeah, Lily's pod really tried because he never does this kind of ice sliding ever, um, um, but it's worked for him this time.
Them apart. To add to the defense, Hailwolf and Pod form projectiles like quills and icy balls of fire to make it harder for the goons.
When Equinox finds friend fire, wait, on its own, great and aggressive the wind to move forward. How is Pod able to manipulate wind like that? I'm not sure.
Thanks to them working better as a team compared to the Legion, not only dodging these
I
projectiles.
think that fireball is really risky. Don't set fire to the cove. That's not smart. Should have just been a solid ice ball. You would have to be careful not to hit um, what's it? Um, yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, yeah, to let I hit one of the things that was um, yeah, yeah, hit one of the life forms. Yeah, one of the developing ones.
But whacking them away or whacking them back to the Legion, adding to the difficulty. Beforehand, Opusnost and Hailwolf have nerves about fighting, because
Uh, Whoa, hang on. So I thought Ekron was still um, like Ekron was about to be defeated by Pod, but it turns out like beforehand, Pod was completely diminished by B. Unless B entered the cove as well, I'm not sure. Yeah, so that's inconsistent time wise. Yeah, just write things with a normal timeline instead of treating this like a flashback.
Opusnost hasn't been in a proper fight in ages. Hailwolf is still nervous about her race, and Pod try and reassure them, even going as far as
So yeah, this is somewhat detailed enough description of how B was defeated.
stating that those flaws are what will affect their performance. And Pod ends up being right. Not
Oh, okay. Oh well, so both the pods and Titrons really did well to defeat each other.
to mention Opusnost never let Hailwolf help him due to Opusnost being eager to keep Hailwolf away from him.
Oh, so Retcon I think still made it to Nab Livingar. Okay, all right, and uh, um, and and Tasman's hurt, 113 rest. yeah, not impressed. Yeah, Von Boy, yeah, definitely not impressed. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, a lot of the Titans hurt too, and uh, well, I still don't understand. I can understand how um, Pod and Vondel would have like somewhat followed the mission, but Basnos and Hailwolf, I don't think so.
To the failure of this fight. As well as the vegetation and Pod's powers acting as an outside defense, the entrance of the mountain, consisting of Livingar and the progress
Oh yeah, because there's no coal. That's one thing. Having no Zami's probably another minor thing. Maybe having no Mike too. But if Fletcher was there too, that would have helped as well. Um, so yeah, yeah. Despite a good effort with strategy, oh, Carpo as well. He would have been a better strategist too, I can imagine. Yeah, because he was the one who often instructs the others. So yeah, and Spike has an idea to take all available forces to the Morphor planet where Vibra is at. Oh yeah, because yeah, they did take Murkador's body with the elements still inside after all. So yeah, yeah. So it's a good idea despite the major loss. Sorry.
of the growing races inside containers was bricked up well. But what was bricked up crumbled no thanks to a blast from BS blast from his mace, adding to the panic of the fight. Before Livingar was lost, there were some successful aspects such as the fact
That the young Titrans, need protection. That's what the sentence was meant to say. Regardless, but yeah, it's like a good counter at first, and I guess like, if the other Titrans were too injured and the other others were like not combat ready, yeah, that's where Bondor has to be the only one to go, try and help out. So yeah, I think they do go back to him.
that Vondur manages to take down Asteroidon with some help from Opusnost as he uses his temporary invincibility.
Um, yeah, you never know who could go for them, because their cameras are still out and about, even if Seinfeld's like the main threat. But you never know, there could still be other, there could still be other, what's it? Not crisp, sorry. Um, yeah, like I said, yeah, just other things that could, try and go for the the growing things. Yeah, sorry, you never really know how to label. What was it? The resurrected races, or near to that. Yeah, sorry.
He also uses blades to get an upper hand, bringing some confidence he could fight someone as strong as Xyanthor. Hailwolf beats a fight against Ravicon, which was an animalistic fight.
Okay, and hopefully Dion should mention how they can't go anywhere unless Dion has a star. So now they know Bob. Hopefully, is sure to know that Carbo is stranded. Everyone else is injured, and hopefully they do get all healed unless they struggled with the healing vine. And um, um, but yeah, I think Dion Fondor should at least try and practice and um, um, yeah, to like help the others, get them back into action again. Yeah, I feel like he should keep trying at least, to struggle then, only to then succeed later. Someone like that could have, yeah. So yeah, it's just that kind of aspect missing.
Both use their teeth and jaws, and while Ravicon did have an upper hand, some help from Pod occurs as Pod kicks Ravicon
So this is kind of repeated again, but if this is information that's being told to them, fair enough.
off Hailwolf's back. Hailwolf then uses his quills to harm Ravicon, and Hailwolf then delivers.
Oh, so yeah, that's updated towards them as well. Okay. And so yeah, and even when they get told about Retron no longer being around, because it's only been Pod and Vondor, who probably has more of an idea of who he was. Yeah, not so much of the others. Oh wait, no, Herwolf, of course. Yeah, she got zapped by him after all in the building. So it'll be interesting to see their reaction because they're a bit mixed. Where they're like, well, I got that the new he's kind about the way, but at the same time, oh yeah, if the Retron was also mentioned that he tried to say the president, it would have it just shows that Retron tried his best in the end. But anyway, main objective, yeah.
The finishing bite, killing Ravicon. Opusnost also wounds Ikran despite Opusnost losing the fight. Last time, Opusnost was scaring Ikran.
Oh, okay, so that's more reason for the space. Okay, so like I said, it's sadly repeated, but at least we got some more reason why space travel was, stopped.
And now it was vice versa. Torrid's betrayal did put off Opusnost from acting all scary again, and
Oh, because of the injuries. Okay, so that makes some sense for Carpo, but he's still stuck regardless. For the Vondor problem with the healing vines, how he could have tried now, yeah, that's still not let's see. No, sorry, I got these. Yeah, get the point.
Ikran holds his own as he uses his cape for defenses and distract.
Okay, he's kept trying. That's good. I wonder if he actually makes it in the end, because it'll be good to heal others. Even help the servicemen too. Could create like a really good starting point between humans and aliens. Yeah, this is like a very good start if that becomes the case. But yeah, nothing much can be done, so all they can do is make a start.
Actions. Also countering Opusnost's astral clones, Opusnost ends up defeated as Ikran's cloak is thrown onto Opusnost and shrouding him when it was initially.
I thought I got the impression that they ran out of fighters. Oh yeah, best fighters have been used. Yeah. Hang on, I bet if things that can harm as many times as I do, then I send more in danger. It's partially a point, but yeah, I just felt like it's I don't know. It's like the story saying, oh, yeah, there could be more, but won't send them to protect them. But I don't know. You just need every help you get.
2 blades against a spear. Ikran does later die as he tries to teleport to Zionthor and Vata back at the Deepar fortress later, and so Livingar is now in the possession of Zion.
Oh yeah, so that adds like some personal motivation. Yeah, that's rather good. So yeah.
Zionthor and Vata. This fight up close started to come about once the goons passed all the defenses.
Yeah, sure they can do their best. Yeah, it's good to, yeah.
Requiring all the good guys to fight the goons up close. To add,
which is almost like an extension of what Fletcher's saying. I feel like it holds water here, but yeah, I just feel like that's like how to correctly criticize Vondor, but I don't know about the others.
To the problems, Pod sees that Vondior.
Yeah, just to clarify, because he's wanting personal revenge, but he's almost probably forgetting that he has to make it for the residents, so he needs to be more sensible. Otherwise, if he goes, then it means risking their Titarans, because especially with Carpo being away, and Carpo would have to get hold of another deputy, which. Yeah, I can imagine that being a tad hard.
Who is the lead of the Titanran fight is not using his powers, only his brute.
Rondor wants revenge. Yes, that's why he's coming with them.
Strength as he prefers. Pod tries and encourages Vondior to use more of his abilities. They were need.
Okay, I guess that's another reason. Oh yeah, they do have a means of one vehicle. Yeah, and the one other spaceship that shoots. So. Okay, that at least helps, why there's no more Titrans that come with, not even Sammy's around to shapeshift, so, yeah, okay.
Did as some Titanrans get hurt during the fight, requiring other Titanrans to try and move them away from the battle. Despite the number of Titanrans getting lower.
And struggling with the vines, so, because they could have, picked some up, but, okay, there's actually a lot of things getting counted and plot holes being plugged. So that's actually rather good.
Vondur only tries his best with his physical strength and makes more of an effort. But his and Pod are
Our first aid from the serviceman, that's rather good. Hopefully the nerd from McCall, if that's would have been nice to actually acknowledge that.
arguing during the fight does distract them both, and Vondur does eventually realize
Oh yeah, to be resurrected and etc. Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, like more samples to work with, etc.
during the loss of this battle that Pod was right. If solving any difficult situation, a wide range of abilities are required instead of a chosen few. As Ikra
Yeah, and like as we see with Venlig in the sequel, yeah, I can imagine when the races come back, yeah, they'd have become nothing like Zanfor's goons. Although strangely enough, Ekron's race supported Gara and therefore still were like proper followers of Zanfor. Um, so yeah.
was making his way to Livingar. He saw that one of the only allies to come about from the Titanran's cloning progress was an arrow.
Oh gosh, so yeah, so that's what. Oh, that's how Ekron died. So I think he missed Pod's attack, but I think it's just because of Ekron getting the element head first. He had no cloak. There's no cloak to like grab it with. Maybe he could try another clothing, but I'm not sure that would help. So okay, and yeah, so yeah, just seeing the element's affection when trying to interact with it.
Arawak, a race Ikran is familiar with. Knowing where this world is at, knowing they were dangerous and had to be extinct, the Titanrans have also labeled.
Yeah, that's good to clarify that point as well. So yeah, it must be quite sad for them to be like, oh no, no more goons, but they do kind of have like a small exchange where, well, firstly, Zanfor absorbs living with the effects, etc., which we know from Forza, and um, it takes a loss of goons considering none of them responding. But anyway, yeah, there's just acknowledgement, not only acknowledgement with the goons, but also with Zanfor and Vatter, having like a good, decent word with one another.
Labeled each growing pod to tell which one is which. With each label written in their language which Ikran can read too, he is very good with language.
Yeah, if the communication thing applies to Margaret, then yeah, of course. Yeah, just imagine that. I thought Margaret was with us, or he might have got shot or something.
Knowing this, before he died, he used the communication spell for Xyanthor
Yeah, definitely quickly, yeah, because you don't want it to affect you too much.
and Vatter to explain that an Arawak is loose which could cause some problems. Knowing the race, Xyanthor and Vatter consider going to the Arawak's world, especially as the Titanrans and Legion are working together thanks to an update after the Nahashtu fight.
I think if I wasn't careful, it sounds like Blindfold's all like decorated almost, which sounds cool. And I even remember Silent at one point having like each body feature representing each element. And whilst that does sound like a cool idea at first, but I won't know which body part to go for almost. Yeah, we're really stuck with that. So I just kind of prefer Silent being himself. If anything, I think certain elemental colours show up at different parts of his hands or when his eyes glow. And then when he absorbs all the elements, it's that same greenish yellowish colour. So yeah, I think that's what still became applied. Even the storybooks kind of visualised, which element was which.
This means that Hamota could be in the Arawak's world if it wasn't on Earth. Pod was the quickest member to chase after Ikran, which
We already know that.
enabled him some speed boosts thanks to control on its own, creating gushes of wind to move him forward while Pod keeps forming ice to slide on. When he nearly gets hold of Ikran after finding him and throwing a fireball at him, that is when Ikran teleported in time. Finally, B was taken away by Pod's powers, frozen.
Yeah, although I think Forza could probably do that on its own, by controlling the rubble and so forth. Even Ozona was able to do that. But anyway, at least it's a bit more possible, I suppose. But yeah, they had the ships anyways. But anyway, it's just another way of transporting, and also quite. Yeah, Well, if they all meet up in the fortress, yeah, it meant that Morlock could create another ship, but it's just improvising using the elements.
Burnt and drenched in water, mainly undertaken by the projectiles as he was tangled in vines too, slowing him down.
Oh yeah, that's like a good moment for him. Although Vector doesn't look the same, being out in space, he probably has like frozen up in places.
B tries to move his way through while firing blasts from
making it as well. Okay.
his mace. But he later loses his soul from the amount of damage
Tell me more. No? Okay.
alongside squeezing from the Titanran's vines. But now Livinga is lost, and most of the Titan.
I wonder who else. I bet the other big allies like Orphan, etc. helped out, but visited the location. Yeah, you can imagine that. Yeah, it's almost like the one where a lot of events took place. If only if we knew more about the history of this whole building.
Titanrans are hurt.
Oh, and that takes us to the end of that chapter. That was a bit lengthy, wasn't it? Yeah, I am sorry for stalling. It's a long story, but I won't bore you with the details. But at least this will soon be the last recordings, depending on how things are ordered.
Tilda chapter 75, both teams chat. One more thing that Diane stated is that both Legion teams now have a chance to contact each other about what their status quo is.
I think that's just common sense for either of them to do anyway. It's a bit weird for Dion to say, it's probably a good time to, update yourselves. Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit odd. I guess what he means is that, it can mean that, they have a good opportunity now, but like I say, it's common sense.
And so Opusnost's Comet Front contact Zamis Orsamatone, and this call took place not too long after the Camos tried to confront the Legion.
Yeah, so I think that definitely confirms that the Camo thing happened after the Livigon thing. Yeah, I think it would have been better for that to happen like simultaneously as well. And also, but no, it doesn't solve the problem of, what I was explaining earlier.
And now both teams show up as holograms on both ships, and it doesn't surprise each other to see faces they haven't seen in days, if not weeks.
Not to mention Fletcher being a new face entirely. So yeah, there's all that sense of, gosh, it's been a while, but anyway, let's see what they talk about.
Both ask how they are, and it turns into an awkward conversation up until Fletcher bumps in. He is a new face to the other team, and Pod.
Yeah, it's good for Fletcher to bump in. He has that kind of conversation, like, hey, I'm here too. Kind of reminds me of, I remember when I had a birthday party. It was mainly consisted of my secondary school mates, but then when I still had that one mate from primary school, I thought, hey, you could come along, and yeah, it was he just managed to settle in extremely well. It was quite amusing, but it went well. It was good.
And the others have a good idea of who Fletcher is, quite warm to him. Also, he sees Fletcher.
Yeah, that's good. So it's a good first impression. It all goes downhill from there.
As someone who knows what he is doing, even explaining his abilities.
I just wonder what else he mentioned to give everyone like a good impression. I don't know, probably. I don't know, just like a very good. I don't know, good sense of strategy, good head and shoulders, yeah, something like that. But also, yeah, his abilities as well. I guess that's handy.
And how he can play a role in any fight if they all unite. This is where Zami and Nicole.
Bit of a rhyme there, but yeah, so it's quite enthusiastic of him to be like, hey, this is how we can work together. But it's still got two elements down, so I suppose it's an idea thing.
Then share about how they do need to get on regardless of their goal. Tilda chapter 75, both teams chat.
Let's see, we've got okay, so yeah, there's that, right, stating what they've learned to the others as well. So yeah, fair enough, just passing on that kind of lesson, because I guess the others kind of like work out eventually on their own that they need to put their own goals more to the side. and yeah, it's like something they kind of learned at their own terms, but not to mention what they come to learn at the final battle.
One more thing that Diane stated is that both Legion teams now have a chance to contact each other about what their status quo is. And so,
Yeah. Is there anything else? I'm not sure if that gets expanded upon, but regardless, it's like touched upon and then kind of left alone.
Opusnost's Comet Front contact Zamis Orsamatone, and this call took place not too long after the Camos tried to confront the Legion.
Yeah, good update.
And now both teams show up as holograms on both ships, and it doesn't surprise each other to see faces they have.
Yeah, because it's just yet another element, although I'm not sure how much the Legion know about Xanthor's progress, but to confirm that he has at least one, yeah, that's already quite bad news.
Haven't seen in days if not weeks. Both ask how they are, and it turns into an awkward conversation up until Fretch.
And yeah, they get into a bit of an argument because, interestingly enough, because they pretty much lose, both halves of the team lose a element each, and then that's where they kind of be like, oh no, Pod, why did you let that happen? And then when when Hamota gets lost, like, why did you let that happen? So yeah, that kind of happens like both ways. So yeah, it's definitely proof that the whole team together, and because it definitely is a good idea to protect the elements almost equally, depending how many there is. Although, oh yeah, some more foils do come to Vector's planet to help them out a bit, but I feel like the story accidentally forgets them. But I suppose we'll wait and see.
Bumps in. He is a new face to the other team, and Pod and the others have a good idea of who Fletcher is, quite warm to him. Also, he sees Fletcher as someone.
So firstly, I'm not sure what Pod and the others criticised, but then Fletcher, I don't know, like, after barely knowing about Hailwolf and the Basnos, telling them to get their head straight. It's a bit like quick to say. I feel like they should. Oh my gosh, they should have chatted about a whole heap of other things. The road ships and journeys is a good opportunity, to have a chat as they continue to make their way. Especially if they're not made their destinations yet.
Who knows what he is doing? Even explaining his abilities and how he can play a role in any fight if they all unite.
And yeah, not to mention Pod, despite losing Livigard, now has Vibra, and so Zami, etc., have the responsibility with Forza. So no, Pemota, sorry.
This is where Zami and Nicole then share about how they do need to get on regardless of their goals, which does help win Fletcher over.
Yeah, those reasons being outlined, but yeah, the Legion, but Nicole's team are at least updated.
Even Pod and the others agree, which makes Opusnost and Hailwolf consider their minor rivalry and that it has to be sidelined. This then leads to asking what each other.
So yeah, good to get more into detail, even if it's quite repeated, but also to let you know about Sign4. What does that become true? Like, for instance, when Sign4 rise, do Zemi and Nicole quickly state, oh, I do have both Naravas here, and yeah, and also, yeah, John should be able to join the call, shouldn't they? Like, why not say that, oh, it's not just Sign4, what's like his father came back as well? Why didn't Dion join the conversation? This would have been a great chance for everyone to catch up before resuming. Yeah, gosh, this could have been so much like lengthier, more detailed.
There is doing, and Zamis' team states that they are going to place the cube element in a safe place.
Yeah, and we are going to have a planet. It's definitely kind of true. Well, when one of the elements is lost anyway. I just didn't realise how come Sammy Nicole managed to reach Vibra before Sign4, like beat Pod beforehand, is because Sign4 makes a grade first and then he would have made his way. Because yeah, if he was going to say that for later, then they might have arrived simultaneously. So Sign4 would have come back first and then he was joined in, and they would have to plan a decent enough strategy quick. And yeah, that's the end of that chapter.